Yo, what's up, dude? Sorry, it's another last minute unannounced stream. It's pretty early, and since I couldn't be live later at the usual time, is like there's no point making an announcement because I can't go live later. So it's like I should just go live right now. One sec. Let me just kind of move this out the way. I already finished my coffee, so I'm wide awake. Wide awake. Let's just make this. Okay, perfect. This computer. I think I hear it now. Overall thoughts. Okay, perfect. Was his live? Is he live? Bro, you just haven't watched the VOD? Bro, you still haven't watched the VOD? Is Wiz live right now? Sorry, I couldn't stream later, so it's alright. I'm only gonna read a few chapters. No, don't worry about me. Just wait for the VOD, guys. Wait for the VOD. It's okay. I apologize. Is he live right now? Shit, I fucked up. My bad. Let's see. Yeah, because I only had about... I have about 3 hours of free time before I have to head out. But I'm not going to be live for 3 hours. I was like, I can probably read like 10 chapters hopefully right now. I haven't watched the VOD? Oh, you haven't watched the VOD? Oh, well, I posted an SSS. I posted Omniscient Reader Viewpoint Monwa React, so hopefully that doesn't get a strike. And if everything's A-okay, we should be able to post more of those. Bro, you need to start scheduling streams? No, I know. I can't. This week, don't look at them. Yeah, this week has been bad. Yeah, he's still like 3 chapters left, though. Yeah, this week has been bad. Like, tomorrow, bro, doing random streams. Damn, I haven't seen Nicole Minute Romero. How you doing, bro? I know. I this week has been kind of inconsistent. Just my IRL schedule has kind of been all over the place. So I haven't been able to stream at the usual time. So, like, that's why I haven't even been able to schedule anything. Moose Ice spoiling finale stuff in episode preview. Oh, Moose Asia? Really? You're spoiling shit? Damn, that's bad. All right, here, I only have like about 2 hours or so about free time. Sabotage for real. What's up, Walter? I only have a few hours of free time. Tomorrow, I might be able to have it scheduled a lot earlier. So I'll try and schedule it when I end this react. All right, but I'm gonna just quickly read as much as I can over the next hour or two. So I'm gonna just start the recording. I know this was a last minute stream again. My exams are getting close. Oh. No, it's, hey, yo, bro. No, you do you, Romero. It's cool. So you're studying? Dude, that's good, bro. Bro saw my message in general Discord. Yeah, so quick announcement. I posted our first Monwa reaction for a new series with a new filter, a new overlay and everything. So everything should be A-okay on that video. A-okay. Hopefully we're copyright strike free. So if you guys like Omniscient Reader Viewpoint, there's a reaction for that. I just posted it like 15-20 minutes ago if you guys want to check that out. And then if all things go according to plan, we should be able to read Monwa live now with that filter. If all things go according to plan. Are you trying to steal Wiz viewers? I know you guys just told me you guys told me he's live. Hey man, it's I only got like 2-3 hours of free time right now, man. That's all I got. I can't stream at the later time. So I just went live right now and then I'm gonna end later. No, it's cool. It was unannounced. If you guys are watching Wiz, it's cool. It's cool. I'll just have the video up. But for now, I'm just gonna continue reading from chapter 788 and hopefully knock out 10 chapters. My exams are... Wait, let me read this again. My exams are getting close. Your streams are at 2 in the morning. Yeah, I know, man. I apologize. Like, look, tomorrow, I can schedule it, like, at this same time for tomorrow. If that works for you guys. So, tomorrow, Saturday, the Ravings of Easy and Wiz stream at the same time. I apologize. I'm sorry. I read a Monwa chapter off stream, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. Let me just post it. It's like, fuck, I only got, like, 2 hours. Let me read it. And then when I end stream and come back, I'll watch the episodes and then have that hopefully uploaded by... before I stream tomorrow morning. But I'm going to just read from right here. So, yeah, I do apologize in advance, guys. Chapter 788, as I forget to do my timestamp. We are at 1 minute, 10 seconds. It's called Hidden Passage. Awesome. Perfect. All right, perfect. Let me just copy-paste. And we'll keep reading. Keep reading. Wait. Let me just paste this. All right, perfect. All right, chapter 788. It's fine. Klein replied with a warm smile. Although he didn't seem to notice anything, thoughts were flying through his mind. He began considering what the anomaly that happened during the instant meant. Previously, the keepers would head upstairs along the nearby staircase. I can preliminarily determine that they live there. Coinciding with the area where the anomaly happened, the keepers are in the best condition, so the chances of them losing control are greater than ordinary beyonders, causing them to suddenly release a sense of evil and diabolical will, and this was suppressed and quelled by the core seal deep behind Channis Gate. If that's the case, there are two possibilities. One, the core seal behind Channis Gate can sense the anomalies in the St. Samuel Cathedral and then react instinctively. Second, the keepers watch over the years. They are constantly corroded by the core seal's powers. In a certain sense, they are all parts of it, or they bear the weight of the corresponding traits. Once any abnormalities happen, their bodies will immediately interfere. Sure. Intervene. If that's part of that means and I knock the keeper unconscious and replace him, it will easily be detected by the core seal behind Channis Gate. It will produce an anomaly like before, causing my plan to fail right at the beginning. If that's the latter, I'll definitely be repelled when entering Channis Gate, even when disguising as a keeper. I need to figure out the problem before coming up with a direct countermeasure. It's really difficult to steal sealed artifacts from the various churches. It's no wonder almost no one is willing to do so. My mod powers when? I got you guys. Don't worry. Soon. I got you. Whoever's number 1 for 5 hours gets mod. As Klein's thoughts wandered, he superficially paid attention to Bishop Electra's explanation of St. Samuel's experiences and letters that he usually left behind. When it was almost time, he politely bade farewell. After returning to 160 Buckland Street, he saw his butler approach just as he handed his hat and cane to Richardson. Sir, do you plan on holding a ball or banquet next weekend and invite the neighbors? Walter wasn't using suggestive tone, but a tone of inquiry. However, Klein knew very well that since his butler had raised the matters, it meant that it was almost time. He nodded gently and said, Saturday night, then, a ball. I have to trouble you and Tangja to make the preparations. Is there enough money? When saying the last statement, Klein looked to his housekeeper. Tangja sternly nodded and said, That's enough. The various alcoholic beverages in your wine cellar is enough to handle several banquets. When moving into 160 Buckland Street, Klein had handed her 1,000 pounds in cash for the household expenses. From the look of it, even with the need to replenish fine wine, tea leaves, and coffee beans, it wasn't something that could be spent in a month. The gold pound is rather strong after all. Klein nodded and smiled. Let's not use wine that's too expensive for our first ball. It's common to be reserved in loan. Yes, sir. Although Walter was very aware of how to run a ball, he still paid serious attention to his employer's instructions. He paused and said, There are only 2 things you need to do. First, it's to settle the guest list with our help, thinking up some small talk for each guest, matching the person's corresponding status and experiences. Second, it's to order a suit for the ball. How troublesome. When greeting Hazel, can I say that the sewers here are clearer than the squares in the southern continent? As Klein sat and lampooned, he nodded slightly. No problem. Deep into the night, the crimson moon hung high in the sky. The smog, which had significantly thinned in Backland, had an additional sense of tranquility. In Dwayne Danton's master bedroom, Klein set up a ritual to summon himself. He planned on entering the sewers tonight to confirm that Tristy had left. He then planned on heading for the fork she had described to explore the so-called hidden passage to see if he could discover anything. Klein didn't have extravagant hopes of gaining anything. He was only aware that the secret hidden in the sewers would pose a hidden risk that would one day explode. This could easily involve Dwayne Dantas, who had lived nearby, spoiling his plans and stealing Antigona's family notebook. Yet, on this matter, I can be the ostrich that buries its head in the sand and pretend to not know anything. I should discover the problem early and destroy what needs to be destroyed, report what needs reporting before it completely erupts. That's the most effective solution. Of course, I also need to be sufficiently careful. I mustn't let my exploration end up lighting a fuse. Klein's spirit body tore out the candlelight, and with a Zix copper whistle augmenting him, he possessed the physical body of Dwayne Dantas, controlling him to walk to the boundary of the wall of spirituality and sit in the reclining chair. To the external world, it looked as though the tycoon had dozens of reading papers. Summoning my soul to possess my body feels different from returning to my body. There's an obvious barrier in between. Klein did a comparison of the experience and floated to his desk, cleaning up most of the items on the altar and leaving behind the candle that maintained his summoning to burn slightly. I don't know why we're waving. I hope you guys are waving from the bottom of goodness of your heart. That made no sense. After doing all this, Klein wore creeping hunger with a Zix copper whistle, death knell, and Sonor gold coin in possession. Damn, he's stacked. He flew out of the master bedroom and left 160 Buckland Street, drilling into the sewers. Just as Klein found himself in the moist and dirty environment, he immediately released Rafe Center and made his marionette open up a distance for him, turning into the hidden fork where Tristy was previously recuperating. This time he saw that she that the clean region and sewers were already stained with dirty containing signs of rats. From the look of it, Trissy had really left. Klein was controlling far behind, heaved a sigh of relief. As a spare body, he didn't need to breathe, nor did he need to walk on the ground. Therefore, he didn't mind how disgusting the sewers were. Sinor walked out of the area and continued walking ahead and turned on the 6th left turn. Klein constantly maintained a distance of 50 meters, perfectly acting the role of a person behind the scenes. At the end of the fork was a corroded wall covered in moss. At a glance, there weren't any abnormalities to it. If Tristy hadn't mentioned it, Klein wouldn't have gotten his marionette to observe every inch of the area detail. A few minutes later, Sinor suddenly straightened his back and walked forward, entering the wall. Passing through the rather thick obstacle, Klein's eyes opened with the marionette's vision. He saw a half-natural, half-artificial cave. It wasn't more than 1.8 meters high and was about 3 meters wide. The ground was littered with tools like shovels, which were wrapped in oilskin, and large piles of mud and rubble. Right ahead were 2 hidden passageways that extended outwards. The left one was about 5 to 6 meters deep, 15 to 18 feet deep, right? Yes? I think I read that right. While the one on the right was nearly 10 meters deep, 30 feet. However, nothing seemed to have existed in them, as though they were still being excavated. This was dug up by Hazel, and that day she was an arrogant and lady of the high society, and at night she was an extravagant in the sewers. Furthermore, she was moving the dirt and rubble on one pile at a time. She was loitering around to find the exact spot, and digging was the subsequent steps. That wall must have been a secret door. Klein hid himself at the fork's entrance as he made Sanders scrutinize the area. The following, one sec. Following that, he made the Wraith enter the left patches until he reached a completely sealed off area. Sinor's figure slowly turned faint as it turned incorporeal. In that state, he passed through the soil and explored deeper, but even when reaching the 100-meter limit, he didn't discover anything of use. All he saw was ordinary insects and worms. Klein made the marionette switch directions, swimming in the sea of soil without finding anything. Sinor soon returned to the cave from before and entered the right passage without being affected by any obstacles. There's still nothing. It's not without any reason that Trissy determined that it will only work for a particular pathway or being in possession of certain item, huh? She must have probed the area with the invisible threads of the demoness of pleasure. Unfortunately, I've already lost Tinder. Damn, he lost Tinder, man. Better luck next time. I'm sorry, that was a Tinder joke. I wonder if the Grey Fog's aura on me would work. It seems so strongly to attract beyonders from the Marauder pathway. Klein silently commented and used his spirit body state, planned on personally visiting the 2 hidden passages that Hazel had dug up. However, he curbed his desire because he was now a marionettist. Doing it personally in situations that didn't require it was in violation of acting principles. It's fine, even if I don't use the Grey Fox aura, I'll just request to purchase a mystical item for the Marauder pathway during tomorrow's afternoon tarot gathering. It doesn't need to be too expensive. It can just be corresponding to sequence 8 or 9, huh? The badge of Lenavus is the only signal receiver. I forgot about that. He still has the badge. Is only a signal receiver, not an item of this pathway. While not aware of the exact situation of what's hiding inside, rashly using my spirit body to explore it might result in attracting a high sequence monster. Being careful and cautious will forever be a condition for myself. Klein slowly heaved a sigh of relief and retrieved Wraith Sinor. He wasn't worried that Hazel... Did I just read this? No. He wasn't worried that Hazel would continue coming in the near future. Any person with normal intelligence would have continued coming unless they had the means to deal with the situation from before. Ignoring how Hazel hasn't had any contact with Beyonder circles, even if she is, getting an item from the Sun Domain isn't simple. After all, Backland is territory of the Church of Storms. I do have something that I don't use often, huh? Can I find an opportunity to sell it to her, and then let her use it to harm my marionette? Klein jeered at himself before shaking his head with a laugh. He ended the submitting and returned above the grey fog, vanishing from the sewers. On Monday morning, the bright sunlight tore through the thin clouds, shining onto every corner of Backland. Emlyn White pulled down on his silk top hat as he left the carriage and walked to the Harvest Church. He squinted his eyes and mumbled, "What terrible weather. Backland's worst scenario is coming soon." He was just about to step onto the stairs when he saw a paper boy approach him, handing him a copy of the Tussock Times. "Sir, today's morning papers." Emlyn wanted to reject it when he discovered a small slip clasped in the middle of the boy's fingers. Emlyn maintained his countenance as he took out a penny and passed it to the boy, receiving the copy of the Tussock Times in the slip. Before entering the Harvest Church, he quickly spread it open and scanned it. "There are clues to the people you're looking for. Please come to the Bravehearts Bar." All right, that was a quick chapter. Next one. I found it crazy how it took me 15 minutes to read the fucking prologue for Omniscience Reader Viewpoint, and I was struggling so much because I'm not used to just... It's been so long. Like, I have not been reading, like, manga panels out loud on screen, And I'm not used to just reading left to right straight lines. It's so weird. Bro is locked in. Like, dude, if you go and look at my read through for the first chapter I posted like 30-40 minutes ago for Omnis, look at it, dude. I read so fucking slow when I was reading Omniscient Reader Viewpoint because I wasn't just used to just reading at different parts on a page. Like, I'm so used to now just reading left to right, left to right. And like for that, I locked in, I can read quickly, but I was struggling to read that. It's so crazy, man, how I was struggling on that. All right, let me update this. This is ready. Next chapter. Don't worry, we got 2 hours. We got to read as much as we can. Chapter 789 is called Each Person's Monday, 9:30 in the morning, Backland Bridge area, Iron Gate Cross, Braveheart Swart. You know what's funny? I'm pretty sure it's that time right now. No, it's not 9:30 in the morning anymore. Emily White stood rooted to his spot after he got down from the carriage. She stared ahead in the daze, nearly forgetting to avoid the sunlight. At that moment, the bar's main door was shut with no signs of it opening. As a sanguine who seldom left his home and only went to places like bars at night, Emily never expected the bar to be closed in the morning. He had left Harvest Church in a rush via the transportation system after seeing the paper slip, hoping to obtain any first-hand intelligence. To save time, he even tolerated the cramped environment and stench on the meter. At that moment, Enlin was somewhat peeved, but he knew that he had made the mistake. All he could do was pull a face and circle around the Iron Gate Street to not waste his trip. Just as he was about to approach a rental carriage that stood along the street, he caught a sight of a familiar figure from the corner of his eye. The person was wearing a brown rounded top hat and old coat while carrying ragged haversack. He was none other than Ian. Don't forget about RI Remake. I know. I actually looked it up earlier, username. Yeah, I saw there's like a chapter or two, right? I know. I heard of it already. Wait, hold up. Let me pause this. Let me drink some water. Actually, I looked it up yesterday. Don't forget about the RRE. What RTO? What is RTOC? I forgot which one was RTOC. But I already looked up the RI remake. Yeah, I already looked it up. I looked it up, man. And then yesterday when I was on Twitter, I saw like some crazy ass fan art of Shadow Slave. I'm like, damn, man, I want to read Shadow Slave again. Regression takes of cultivation. Oh, that was the other one you showed me. All right, I forgot the abbreviation. No, I already looked it up though. I was gonna do the RI remake thing first, but I was like, let me just read the first chapter of OROV and see how it does. Am I getting phone calls, man? Oh shit! 1 sec. 1 sec. I forgot somebody's gonna pick something up. 1 sec. Wait. I forgot. Somebody was gonna come over quickly and pick something up. I'll be done in like 2 seconds. Okay. These two are synchronized today. Double pause, whiz, and easy pause. Wait, did he pause right now? Did he pause quickly and walk away? What the fuck? That's fucking funny. No, because I have a friend that's picking up I bought a giant free rent poster and they wanted to buy it. You had to go to the washroom. Oh, you guys say washroom. I say bathroom. Wait, here, let me show you the free rent artwork. Hold up. Look how crazy this is. We had to buy it for them, and they're going to come over and pick it up right now. And just because of our schedule, we haven't been able to. Wait, will you guys come back at the same time? Let's find out. Look how crazy this. Wait, you guys came back at the same time too? That's fucking funny. Well, you guys ready? Check it out. Isn't this crazy? Why is it like doing that blur effect? Isn't that sick, dude? Look at that. Look at that cool ass free rent poster. It was expensive, I'll tell you that much. They don't make them cheap anymore. But yeah, they're gonna come pick it up. So when they text me, I'm gonna quickly head out for like 2 minutes. One sec. Let me leave it back outside. It's fucking sick, dude. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave my phone right here, and we're gonna keep reading the next chapter. And when I get a phone call, I am gonna step outside. Just do this. I'm gonna start the next chapter, but when they're outside, I'm gonna quickly step outside for a quick minute. I'm gonna be like out for like 5 minutes, just so I can say what's up and all that, and then hand them the poster. Timestamp 7:89. Okay, perfect. Let me read from here after that slight distraction. At that moment, the bar's main door was shut open. We read this. To save time, he even tolerated the cramped environment and stench on the metro. At that moment, Anlin was somewhat peeved, but he knew that he had made the mistake. All he could do was pull off a face and circle around the Iron Gate Street to not waste his trip. Just as he was about to approach a rental carriage that stood along the street, he caught sight of a familiar figure from the corner of his eye. The person was wearing a brown, rounded top hat and old coat while carrying a ragged haversack. He was none other than Ian, the underground arms dealer of the intelligence merchant. Huh? I have quite a good intuition. I knew he would appear early. Emlyn was delighted as he stuffed his hands into his pocket and leisurely walked over, blocking Ian's way as he chuckled. Good morning. Ian looked up and glanced at the handsome man before him, replying in puzzlement, Good morning, Mr. White. You should come in the evening. It seems to be a suitable time now, Emlyn said with a smile, clearly in a good mood. Ian, why did you always wear the same clothes and outfits every time I see you? Ian answered without minding the question, This can make me appear more mature while allowing me to keep a low profile. Of course, the main reason is that I like money. The final sentence was added with a joke tone. I look forward to your attire in summer, Emlyn said with a scoff. I'll take off my coat. As Ian spoke, he took out 2 pieces of paper from his ragged haversack. They were the bounty notices that Emlyn had previously given him. Someone in the East Borough saw this person. He handed over one of the papers to Emlyn, and on it was the name Argos. Realizing that there really were clues to the primordial moon believers, Emlyn asked in delight, Where is he? Ian didn't reply as he looked at him with a silent smile. Experienced, Emlyn immediately took out his wallet and gave 150 pounds to Ian. That's your reward. Ian smiled and said, There's still another half to go. Another half. Emlyn nearly wanted to let the merchant in front of him know that the prowess of a sanguine. This was because an effective clue cost 20 pounds, while the exact location cost 150 pounds. However, he quickly ran between the lines, and as he asked in a pleasant surprise, another one was found. Yes, Ian handed him the remaining pieces of paper in his hand. While my friend observed, Agros confirmed his residence. It was discovered that he had met with a person named Gallus Kevin. Therefore, I've obtained the residence of the 2 targets at the same time. Very good. Emlyn emptied his wallet and gave another 150 pounds to Ian. He was abnormally delighted. He felt that the ancestor and Mr. Fool were blessing him. This is because there were only 5 targets and he had successfully hunted one. Now, with 2 additional clues, all he needed to do was succeed in order to declare himself the victor regardless of what the other sanguines did. Ian seriously counted and checked the notes before saying with a surprised voice, Argos is the 3rd story of the apartment block at the Eastborough 6 Lime Street, opposite the public washroom. Gallus Kevin is similar in Eastborough. He stays in the room beside the staircase on the first floor at 19 Bogeo Wall Street. I will confirm your intelligence. I believe you wouldn't wish to abandon your business for a mere 300 pounds. Emlyn nodded gently as he gave a warning. Following that, he chuckled and said, They were found so easily. Ian's red eyes darted around slightly as he said, First, many bounty hunters and my friends, they have many informants in Eastborough. Second, those 2 gentlemen didn't have great disguises. Despite being in Eastborough, they wore very different attire from different people around them. If they were willing to wear more ragged clothes and did more than 12 hours of labor work, I believe they would be hard to find in the messy Eastborough. Is that so? One needs to take note of the difference in environment when hiding oneself. Emlyn muttered silently to himself, feeling as though he had learned a new trick. He didn't plan on heading to Eastborough immediately. This was because even if he took action in the day, it wouldn't be very difficult to escape without causing a commotion. It was a rather dangerous act in Backland, as it meant that the mandated Punisher's Nighthawks might come knocking at the door just after he sneaked back home. Emlyn planned on verifying the situation and taking action between 8 to 9 in the evening after the terror gathering. That primordial moon believer from before was quite strong. These two likely aren't awake, although I have confidence it feels unsafe only relying on myself. As Emlyn considered a problem, he waved his hand and bade Ian farewell. He rode on a rental carriage heading back for the south side of the bridge, East Chester County, Stone City. Audrey stood behind a railing, watching the servants placing the items that had been brought from the family castle in suitable spots. The scene was bustling but ordinary. I'll send someone to Associate Professor Michio later and tell him that I'll be paying a visit to the Relics Secret Search and Preservation Foundation. I hope that they've been obtained some items that have tainted with beyonder effects. As Audrey's mind wandered, she couldn't help but smile. She was proud of her decision of the donations that fund the established foundations. When her eyes that were as beautiful as Ambrose saw the time on the wall clock, she hurriedly reined in her thoughts and returned to her bedroom. When her eyes, I just read that. Susie was slumped in the corner. One sec. I'm gonna walk outside for like 3-4 minutes. BRB. Let me just hand the poster over. My laptop turned off randomly again. Oh, turn on the TV, sure, no problem. Dude, my PC used to shut off on me randomly, man, when it gets so hot. Whew. All right, I'm back. Let me find my place. Wow, man, hold up. I need a minute for my eyes to adjust. It's so dark in this room and it's so sunny outside. Whew. I'll read from here. I think I was right here before I had to step out. East Chester County, Stone City. Audrey stood behind a railing watching the servants placing the items that had been brought from the family castle into suitable spots. The scene was bustling ordinary. Welcome back, guys. I'll send someone to the associate professor to go over the artifacts. When her eyes that were as beautiful as Amber saw the time on the wall clock as she hurriedly reined in her thoughts and turned to return to her bedroom, Susie was slumped in the corner of the bed, and its front paws were crossed, giving it a sense of elegance. In front of it was an open book. There were dense lines of text written on it. Susie would raise one of her front paws from time to time to flip the pages as she read with great seriousness. Every time I see Susie like that, I feel a little ashamed. Audrey, you mustn't slack off on your education. Audrey encouraged herself in silence as she approached, planning to get Susie to head outside and guard the door. Susie looked up and glanced at Audrey before standing straight up and saying, I got it. After saying that, it briskly ran out of the bedroom without closing the door. I haven't said anything. Audrey blinked as she softly muttered to herself. She had given such instructions many times to prevent Susie from detecting that she wanted to be alone in the room from 3 to 3:30 p.m. on Mondays, forbidding humans and dogs from coming close. She had also done similar matters at other times, pretending that there was a gathering, wanting alone time while maintaining a regular pattern. I have to say that Susie's existence has effectively raised my motivation to learn, as well as how strictly I handle matters. I can't be inferior to a dog, but being better than a dog that doesn't seem to do something worthy of praise. Audrey puffed her cheeks with a self-deprecating comment and sat by her, awaiting the beginning of the terror gathering. Dude, thank you, man. Thank you guys for following so much. Bro is a true evernight believer. He does not like the light. Yeah, I know. My room is super dark, bro. I always try and keep all the blinds shut. 3 p.m. above the gray fog. Dark red figures shot up along the two sides of a long bronze table, materializing in different blurry figures. Good afternoon, Mr. Fool. Audrey greeted with a cheery voice as she bowed. The other members greeted one after another until the existence at the seat of honor nodded in response. While sitting down, Force couldn't help but look at Mr. World, wondering what she should use as an opening. Apart from passing on her teacher's reply to Ma'am Hermit, she planned on doing a few matters. One, she wanted to tell Mr. World that due to the difficulty of the mission, she would pay him more, but it required him to wait. This is because the sale of the house took him. Second, after brainstorming, she thought of a good way that could earn money and raise her strength. She had gained inspiration from the world's action, rent out layman's travels. When a member needed an item to temporarily raise their combat, that's such a good idea. When a member needed an item to temporarily raise their combat strength to deal with certain situations, they could rent out layman travels from her. The rent could be paid in two forms: cash, which wasn't too expensive, or to record beyond her powers instead. That is such a good idea. This is also meant that the renter has to guarantee that the spell book was returned with more filled pages. Of course, as a provider, Force would record useful apprentice powers like door opening and providing renter with relevant help. A problem that could easily happen in this transaction was that the renter might not return. But with Mr. Fools witnessing the exchanges in Terror Club, Force believed that no one would be blinded by greed, and the death of the renter was a low probability even for losing Raymond's travels, but with everyone knowing that they could pray to Mr. Fool in times of danger, death was an even smaller probability. How can there not be any risks when doing business? I will talk to Mr. World about when he will use it. That I never thought about that. I always wondered, like, how would she use it to gain abilities or like use it like that? Okay, that makes sense. I will talk to Mr. World about when he will use it so that there won't be any conflicts. Forrest retracted her gaze and heard Madame Hermit speak. Honorable Mr. Fool, I have 2 pages of results diaries this time. Ever since contract was made with Queen Mystic, the receiving diary pages has stabilized in a rather terrifying manner. Klein nodded slightly and chuckled. Very good. After brief silence, Catleya conjured two yellowish. Why is my thing all crooked? She conjured 2 yellowish brown pieces of pages that leapt into Mr. Swole's palms as they had tunneled through the spirit world. Klein slowly lowered his gaze as a diary in his hand. December 29th, it's almost a new year again. All the mausoleums have been built. What's done cannot be done. Undone. Oh, that's it. Next chapter. All right, let's keep reading. Okay. That's so fucking smart. I never thought about that. I always wondered how she get people to, like, add spells. So I was under the idea like, oh, maybe she'll just pay him like, hey, I'll give you 20 pounds if you like record a spell or whatever. But it makes more sense if she rents it out to them, and then the only payment is you either pay or you give me more spells in return. Smart idea. All right, but next chapter, chapter 790, is called The End of the Diary. All the mausoleums have been built. What's done cannot be undone. Klein looked at the diary page in his hand as his thoughts boiled over the ideas kept emerging and shattering. From his point of view, the diary page, Emperor Rizal nearly provided his previous conjectures. He had chosen to forcibly switch to the Black Emperor pathway in his later years. Oh, he is actually going to come back as a protagonist. He's actually going to come back as the antagonist. Oh my god. To forcibly switch to Black Emperor pathway in his later years, doing so at the cost of going mad to become a Sequence Zero true god. Yo, that's crazy. I know. Yeah, it was bad timing on my end, Shado. Yeah, I know. It was kind of like a last minute stream, and then you guys were like, oh shit, he's live too. What drove the Emperor to make such a decision? What did he discover that resulted in his agitation, rashness, and loss of composure in the previous diary pages? And compared to back then, his emotions in this diary entry appeared calm and composed, but it feels like he is even more extreme. It's hard to imagine what the Emperor experienced or encountered in his later years that resulted in him having such an abnormal situation. The madness that angels are embroiled with to begin with, or is something that had happened to the faith of the believers that kept him anchored. His rationality is, if he was normal, shouldn't he hold back a little and strive for certain outcomes before finding an opportunity to devour the hidden sage? Klein instantly thought of many things, but he was unable to find any evidence. And on this page of goat skin, there were only 2 short lines of text, as though it indicated the final diary page of Emperor Rizal's life. The end of the year, or the beginning of the new year, was the day he was suspected to have perished in the White Maple Palace. An emperor of an era, a transmigrator's last words. Klein sighed silently as he flipped the goatskin bench. The diary page didn't have a date, but at the top of the page was a line in Basic. Immediately follows the previous page. The words were written neatly and elegantly, very different from Emperor Rizal's handwriting. It was obvious that it was added by someone else. Oh, it's a translation. I got you. Yeah, sequence 5 on the improper translation is Nimble Right Master, but the proper translation is a marionettist. Yeah, I got you. People were pointing out the same thing to me when I was reading it. It's probably a note by Queen Mystic to indicate that this is the last part of the diary. Wait, this is the end of the diary pages. What the heck? It's probably a note by Queen Mystic to indicate that this is the last part of the diary, written after the Emperor said that what's done cannot be undone. But why isn't there a date? Klein was deeply puzzled as he read the corresponding content, and his gaze freezing up. I believe I'm not the only transmigrator in this world. If there's anyone else who can read in my diary, remember to carefully select your Beyonder pathway. Once you choose it, it pretty much confirms your allies and your enemies. Oh shit, he's speaking to him now. Oh shit, I'm unable to give any actual suggestions because I myself cannot see the true faces of the 7 deities or those evil gods. This might be partly related to the second blasphemy slate that the ancient organization hides. What does that even? I still don't know what that means. The second, like, I'm under the idea that the second blasphemy slate is an entirely 22 different Beyonder pathways that we just don't know of. And, like, that's why the ancient organization still hides it. Like the Twilight Hermit Order or whatever. That's the only thing I can think of. Unfortunately, I only have a rough idea of the hidden parts, but I'm unable to verify them. Similarly, I don't know what's written in the first Blasphemy Slate either. Never mind. A useful warning is to not choose a pathway with sequence zeros that are occupied. And also be careful of neighboring sequence zeros and sequence ones. I've suffered tremendously on this aspect. That's why he changed. As for what sequence 0 represents, search for my other diary pages if you aren't aware. Hint, this page is equivalent to the afterword of my life. If I succeed, I'll be a god, and I'll be in another story. Does that imply something? I'll be a god, and it will be another story. If I were to fail, there wouldn't be a future. Perhaps, well, you know. Go, my friend, who understands my diary. Go seek out my secrets of transmigration and the truth hidden within. This is so sick. I'll be watching you if I'm still alive. No shot, dude. He's still alive. Or he's going to come back as a true Black Emperor. Finally, let me warn you that you have to remember. Be careful of the moon. What? Klein wasn't surprised about there being more than one transmigrator. After all, he had long known of a senior in the... Dude, Amon has to be a transmigrator. No shot. After all, he had long known of senior in the form of Emperor Rizal. Be careful of the moon. Oh my god. Amon is a transmigrator. Oh my god. Amon is a transmigrator. That's why he's such an enigma. Oh, that's probably what it is. He was puzzled about the details that the Emperor had used to determine that there wasn't only one transmigrator. This was a very important point, and it held great meanings as to whether there was incomparable problems to I can't read. In his bid to return home, what? This was like an unknown equation without enough examples and conditions. There was no way to obtain the correct answer no matter how he tried to solve it. Only with enough equations could he find the correct answer. The Emperor should have written his discoveries on this matter in the previous diary entries. Unfortunately, I have no way of knowing where it is in order to do a targeted search and recovery. Klein silently sighed before considering the other contents in the afterworld. The hidden contents in the second blasphemy stage, which the Twilight Hermit Order showed. Did they deliberately hide the contents, or did they not actually obtain it? The second blasphemy slate was actually split into two parts, with the other half landing in the hands of the faction and the other half in somebody else's possession. My pathway has already been determined. If was selected based on the exclamation founder in the Emperor's diaries. From the Emperor's afterwards, I can be a bit assured the Seer pathway doesn't have a sequence 0 because the Mad Sequence 1 Zaratul is still alive. Zaratul has to be holding the plate. We may never confirm nor deny. Okay, wait. Oh, dude. Zaratul is holding that sequence 1 place until there's a worthy sequence 0. Like, once the worthy true Lord of Mysteries, i.e. Klein, only then would Zaratul willingly give away his characteristic and the two remaining characteristics to Klein. That has to be what happens. And according to the law beyond our characteristics conservation, this subdivision part can probably be called the law of incompatibility. Wait. I need to reread this. From Emperors afterward, I can be a bit assured the Seer pathway doesn't have a sequence 0 because the Mad sequence 1 Zaratul is still alive. Fact. And according to the law beyond our characteristics conservation, this subdivision part can probably be called the law of incompatibility. You guys have to explain this to me. If there's a sequence 1, oh, yes, if there's a sequence 1, there's no sequence 0. I need to be careful of Zaratul, Mr. Dor, Blasphemer Amon, and the Palat Zaros, as well as other sequence 1s who exist in these three pathways. Wait, who's the other one? Palat Zaros? The Parasite? Oh, the Parasite, the one that's on Leonard. Okay, so we got Mr. Dor, Blasphemer Amon, and Palat Zaros, as well as the other sequence 1 who exists in these three domains. In these three pathways, what does being careful of the moon mean? Be careful of primordial moon? That could be said directly. No. He's not talking about the primordial moon, dude. He's talking about the Evernight Goddess. Wait, also, Izigiki, you broke your streak day 1. You forgot about your honorific name. The reader who stalls for eternity, the tamer of beasts and dogs, the one who farms Elutim Izigiki, suspects that beware of moon means beware of the Evernight Goddess. What's up, man? What's up? How you guys doing? The way the Emperor apparently had thoughts of exploring the Crimson Moon before. Could it be that he finally committed himself to do it and discovered something on the moon, which is why he warned the other transmigrators to be careful of the moon? I wonder if we're actually gonna go to the moon, dude. Which is why he warned other transmigrators to be careful of the moon. The moon has something to do with transmigration. The red moon, the red veil when Klein transmigrated in the anime, in the Donghua, right? There's like a red veil and he hears about, right? Wait. Oh, when he gets transmigrated, there's all these red flashing lights around him. And then I remember it because I don't think this was ever mentioned in the web novel. But like, there's like a red gem that shatters when he like enters, right? When he enters the world of Lord of the Mysteries. The red is moon. The veil is red that sucked him in. And then there's a red. Oh, shit. It is connected to it. Do not confirm nor deny. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Wait. The Emperor apparently. Ah, man. The moon has something to do with transmigration. Yes, the Emperor's tone indicates that he still has some contingency plans and he might not be completely perished. No, he's going to come back. He might be watching me. Oh, he is, dude. There should be also clues to such matters, and they should also be written in the earlier diary entries. Is he waiting in the moon? The gem shatters when he enters the gray fog. Wait. You're right. The gem The gem did shatter when he used the luck enhancement ritual for the first time, and instead of going home, he went above the gray fog. You're right. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you. Yes, I'm pretty sure the Evernight Goddess is evil. Damn, that has to be it. She probably went mad, and then that's why Rosola is saying to beware. As conclusions and puzzlements flashed through Klein's mind, he finally turned solemn. He made the diary in his hand vanish and looked towards Katlia. Do you have anything you want to ask? Katlia nudged the heavy glasses on her nose and politely bowed her head. Honorable Mr. Fool, I wish to know if Emperor Rizal is still alive. Damn, how does she know that? She has to... The question snapped the other members of the Terror Club out of their own thoughts as they looked towards the end of the bronze table in agitation. Although Emperor Rizal being alive wasn't directly related to him, nor with it being an obvious influence, this topic was enough to stir the thirst hidden deep in the hearts of people regaining rumors and gossip. I thought I would be immune to such matters after advancing to a psychiatrist. Sigh, I'm really curious. Audrey looked at Mr. Full with bright eyes as she waited for him to give the answer. Only Derek, uninterested in the matter, he don't give a fuck, dude. The reason why he looked at Mr. Full was solely because everyone else has done so. Like, I'll only look because everybody else is doing it. Indeed, Queen Mystic's questions are basically targeted at the diary pages she provided. Klein didn't dare stumped as he skillfully chuckled, perhaps. By using the answer perhaps, he is expressing that Emperor Rizal had the hopes of saving himself. As for whether he eventually succeeded or whether there was an accident, it wasn't in the scope of the question that might not have an answer. Perhaps Mr. Fool is implying that Emperor Rizal might still be alive. Katlia and company felt as though he had heard the greatest secret in the world and felt a little agitated and excited. However, they could also sense the underlying tone in Mr. Fool's words. Due to the lack of diary entries and with him having just awoken recently, he was unable to determine that Emperor Rizal had seized an opportunity to determine that would require more clues and evidence in the future. Regardless, Emperor Rizal was likely mentally prepared for the assassination without giving justice. Yeah, like there's no way he was just killed and like that's the end of it, man. There has to be more behind it. Without giving justice, the hangman and company to think of the related problems, Klein leaned back and said in a calm tone, "That's all from me." Forrest hurriedly snapped out of her fantasizing of Rizal's late years as she looked at the end of the bronze table. Honorable Mr. Fool, I wish to communicate privately with the world. It will end quickly. What does she want to communicate with German Spur about? Isn't Mr. X matter over? Klein thought in puzzlement as he nodded gently. Yes. Following that, he blocked the senses of the other members and controlled the world to chuckle. Is there anything else? Forrest deliberated. Let me raise the volume. Forrest deliberated for 2 seconds and said, "This is the matters Mr. X had allowed me to receive a handsome reward. I believe that I didn't pay enough on this matter to match the difference of missions. Therefore, I wish to compensate you. How much do you wish to receive?" Not bad. You actually want to compensate me without any promoting. Although Miss Magician is a little greedy on gaining petty advantages, she's still an honest person. What do you mean gaining petty advantages? She's still an honest person. It's very normal to earn some profit while making a transaction. It's not considered greedy. The pleasantly surprised Klein sighed inwardly in praise as he made the world chuckled. How much can you pay? Forrest hesitated for a moment and said 5,000 pounds. She had used the 10,000 pounds price she had informed her teacher and planned to split it evenly with Mr. World. Furthermore, she needed the received crystal ball, and beyond her ingredients, thus she planned on selling the 2 properties and give him money directly. As for the reason why Forrest was this generous, it has to do with the mission being harder than she had expected, while also paying too low of a price. In addition, she was increasingly fearful of the world German Sparrow. She didn't dare to offend the crazy adventurer and terrifying bounty hunter. The Abraham family gave quite a huge reward. Klein controlled the world and said with a laugh, "If you can use large amounts of gold coins in place of notes, you can pay less. It would just depend on how much you can gather. I'll try my best." Although Forrest was very puzzled over why Mr. Ford valued gold coins that much, she didn't dare ask. He had done the same with Ma'am Hermit's transactions previously. She paused before asking, "Mr. World, when would you need to use layman travels? I plan on renting it out before and after the period in order to earn some money and beyond her powers." Rent it out. Rent out a mystical item. Klein was taken aback upon hearing that. He had never expected Miss Magician to have such business-oriented minds. Literally, for a freaking book writer, she is such a good business lady, dude. That is such a smart decision. Even Klein is like, what the you're gonna rent out a mystical item? He's like, yeah, dude. She's gonna make so much money from this. She's gonna be living the good life after a few chapters, dude. She's literally gonna be living the good life. All right, next chapter, new model. Timestamp, 34 minutes. 31 seconds. Also, I do apologize that this was a last-minute unannounced stream. Of course, the capitalist based. Based indeed. All right, 791. By the way, man, if you guys haven't watched that ROV video, let me know how it is. Watch it. Let me know. Let me see how it's doing. Hold up. Sorry. Me being... Oh, it's number 2? Oh, wow. This video is doing really good. It's ranked number 2 out of 10 because YouTube ranks your previous 10 videos and it's ranked 2 out of 10. Oh, wow. It's actually doing really good. Oh, shit. I didn't think it was going to do good. Okay. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Know what you're doing, RV. Okay. Awesome. Oh, that makes me a little excited that people are watching it. Okay, cool. All right, next chapter. Chapter 791, New Bottle. Yes, and if you guys haven't watched the ROV video I posted, watch it. Let me know how it's doing. The ROV one? Yeah, let me know. If the filter is too strong or it's too low, let me know. I do want to keep the filter just for copyright sake, but you guys let me know. I'll take any feedback. And then that way, we should be able to do Monware reactions live on stream, and we don't have to like edit off stream and then take up more time and then potentially just delay them. Now we can just read them, watch them, and upload it right away. And then that way, we can min-max our reading time. Chapter 791 is called New Model. As a youth that came from the internet age on Earth, Klein quickly understood Mitch Magician's ideas, how she prepared to do it, and what she was relying on. Isn't this sharing economy with the Terry Club in the Fool? There's no technological limitation. Miss Magician is usually lazy and doesn't have a strong... She's not lazy. What? Where's this coming from? I'm sorry. Miss Magician is usually lazy and doesn't have a strong presence, but I never expected her to have a sharp come on such matters, huh? It also stems from me requesting to borrow the spellbook. Regardless, to be able to quickly be inspired and set up a business model was pretty good. Klein deliberately made the world. German swore hesitate for a few seconds before saying, I might need it this week and the next week. He was estimating this based on the time it took Mr. Hangman to return from the Abyss Maelstrom to the Roasted Sea, while also allocating time for him to stabilize his spirituality and replenish his supplies. When the time came, they would join forces to explore the primitive island with beyond creatures. Oh, it's gonna be such a good little arc. Forge hardly nodded. All right, I will make the arrangements to prevent others from using it. As he heaved a sigh of relief, she requested Mr. Full that he bear witness to the subsequent rental agreement. After obtaining a confirmation from him, she indicated that she was done with private communications. Following that, she conjured layman's travels and served it to the table. Everyone, I have here a mystical item, okay? It has a total of 30 pages. Each page can help the user record beyond the powers they encounter. They will then be able to release it when needed, but it will be slightly weaker than the original power. Damn, look at that. Each page can be repeatedly recorded. Each person can only be used once. Amongst them, 3 pages can be used to record demigod level beyond powers, but the chances of success are very low. Wow, I can't read. But the chances of success are very low. It might not succeed 1 in 10 times. Force simply explained the traits of layman's travels and its negative effects. It lit up the eyes of Audrey and company. With them no longer being novices in the domain of mysticism or the beyond world, it wasn't difficult for them to tell that the value of Miss Magician's notebook without her making it explicit to them. At the same time, they viewed it as a demigod level artifact. It resembles a shepherd in the creeping hunger. They allow them to use the beyond powers from other pathways. But there aren't as many negative effects. There's also a chance to record a demigod power. Draw my own blood. Audrey, draw my own blood? Audrey suddenly shrank her hand back in fear as she thought over the matters. As a powerful noble daughter, she had almost never been injured from a young age. Therefore, she had never... Therefore, she had an extreme fear of pain that remained an unknown to her. Man, what is this? She gotta go out and fight, dude. Taking it like, what's that? Oh no, I got a little cut on my noble hand. Taking the opportunity when forced paused, she raised her hand slightly and asked, Miss Magician, how much do you wish to sell it for? Audrey believed that her father, Earl Hall, would also be able to recognize the value of layman's travel so as to certain that she could be reimbursed by him. Therefore, she planned on fully satisfying Ford's requirements. She must be lacking money recently, or else she wouldn't be selling such an important, useful, mystical item. While Audrey thought in pity, she considered whether she should offer to buy at a premium. Damn, now she's pitying her? No! Wiz ended. I can listen properly. I apologize for that, guys. Yeah, no, sorry for the double ravings. Damn it, why can't it be put on sale after return from the primitive island? Oliger had a strong interest in layman travels, but he wasn't able to produce the money or materials needed to purchase this mystical item. 1,200 pounds was money that an ordinary person might not be able to save up even in 10 to 20 years, but compared to an item at the level of layman travels, it was nosy. Oh, really? You've been watching a Spanish LOTM streamer? Wait, Richie Boy? Easy. I've been watching a Spanish streamer read LOTM, and they did a chart with the pathways. He's on volume 2, so there is no spoiler. It's on Spanish though. How was okay, we should check it out. I'm down. Miss Magician has money, and the Hermit Queen would... It's worth at least 10,000 pounds. If I encounter the Beyonders that are backed by the powerful factions, it wouldn't be a problem selling it for more than 30,000 pounds. Oliver swept his glance at Justice, who was inquiring about the price, as well as Cattleya, who had nudged her glasses, looking as though she was planning to join the bid. He couldn't help but sigh. He didn't believe that the transaction would fail according to his wishes, having it left unsold before he returned to Primitive Island. Miss Magician has money, and the Hermit has Queen Mystic and the Moses Ascetic Order. They don't lack money or resources. Sigh. Oliver adjusted his seating posture as he looked across the table with a heavy look. He's like, damn, man. He's like, I can't buy this shit, huh? They're gonna buy me out. Emlyn and Derek were similarly interested in layman's travels, but it was simply interest. They knew that they lacked the ability to provide anything in a fair exchange. When she heard Miss Justice's question, Ford realized that she had forgotten to mention the most crucial point. She hurriedly added, "No, it's not for purchase. I'm only renting it out. When you need it, you can rent it for a short period of time, which will be witnessed by Mr. Full. Rent? You can do that." At that moment, everyone except Klein and Derek were surprised. Without a doubt, they knew what a rental transaction was, but Derek's been through that. Yeah, that's true. That happened in Volume 2. With Rosalgo's All Black Eye, right? Yeah, I think that's what he used. That is what he used back in Volume 2. Without a doubt, they knew what a rental transaction was, but they never expected it to be applied to the mystical item, much less have it appear at the Turk Club. Yeah, because it had the creator's ravings. This was apparently very doable. It was relatively useful for every member of the Terror Club, and it wouldn't cost them much while remaining affordable. Furthermore, Miss Magician could slowly build up quite a sizable fortune by doing so, but in fact the best result was to record a Beyond Her Powers. She could gather different kinds of Beyond Her Powers from various pathways in this way, making it far more effective than seeking the chance to record it on her own. Augur quickly realized the key to this rental transaction, and he's delighted. He asked, "How much is the rental fee?" Well, I just realized she's a book writer, so it wouldn't even be like weird for her to walk around with this book. There should be a Chinese one. I'm so tired of listening in English. I know. I apologize for that. I do apologize. Layman's Travels corresponding to Sequence 6. I know. So I feel like it'd be hard for people to listen to things if it's not like your main language, right? That is one thing I thought about. Layman's Travels corresponds to a Sequence 6. It's usually about 5,000 pounds, but due to its uniqueness, it costs at least 10,000 pounds. Forrest had built up quite a bit of experience during her time in the Terror Club, so after the consideration, she said, each rental basically starts at 300 pounds. Every additional day is an additional 50 pounds, and when returning it, the notebook needs to have 2 additional pages of Beyonders. Damn, okay. Powers that when it is rented out, if there's only 1 blank page or no blank pages when it's returned, one just needs to fill up the full book. Having 2 additional pages didn't mean 2 additional powers. That also meant that they could use any of the Beyond Powers in Layman Travels. One just needs to make up for it later. There was no need for it to be of the same type, as pages were all that mattered. 50 pounds a day, 1,500 pounds a month. If it's possible, I can keep renting it. Audrey did a simple count on the cost. Oliver was thrilled when he heard that. He said with an unperturbed look, "I planned on renting it for due days, but the exact price needs to be negotiated. It will be adjusted based on what Beyond Her Powers are recorded in the notebook." He felt more confident towards his exploration of the primitive island. "When do you plan to rent it?" Ford asked, delighted that she had business right away. "I'll be renting it for due days sometime between this weekend to next weekend. The exact time hasn't been determined," Olga replied without any hesitation. Forrest immediately frowned and said, "This period of time has already been reserved for Mr. World." Reserved for the world? When did this happen? Olga surprised as he looked at the other end of the long bronze table. He soon came to a realization that it had been agreed upon during their private communication. Why will they come to such an agreement? Miss Magician doesn't need to have informed him ahead of time. They had other transactions during the private communication. What kind of communications and transactions would they have? Miss Magician had commissioned the assassination of the Aurora Order Oracle. They would have accepted the mission, and one of the traits of the Oracle is the ability to record and use the Beyond Her Powers of others once. This is identical to Layman's Travels. Does this mean that the world has already succeeded? As such, Miss Magician is indebted to him, and she hadn't fully resolved it. Now she came up with this method to pay off the rest. Olga limited the possibility and finally felt that he found the truth. Without anyone catching the wind of it, the world, German Sparrow had already hunted the Aurora Order Oracle and the Orcus. They're so cunning. He's like, oh, he did it. And Orcus suspected to be a Sequence 5. Damn. Klein? Is he in the bathroom? I think he is in the bathroom, right? This secretly made Olga feel alarmed because he was about to cooperate with the world soon. Thankfully, the Mr. World bearing witness, or no, maybe he's back in bed. As a blessed German Sparrow wouldn't violate the agreement he makes in front of a god, Olga consoled himself and retracted his gaze from the world. Meanwhile, Audrey and Ketlia had recalled the matters of the Aurora Order Oracle from the transactions involving both Miss Magician and Mr. World, as well as how the Oracle powers were similarly to Layman's Travels. Hence, they believed that the world might already be completed the mission. Renting the spellbook was one of the parts to be completing the transaction. I butchered that sentence. Emlyn didn't think about such matters, putting his focus on the unavailability of Layman's Travels this weekend and the following week. In other words, I can borrow it for the next few days. If I have help from this notebook, those 2 primitive believers would be able to pose a threat. Emlyn looked around and turned anxious as he leisurely said, "Can I rent it for today and tomorrow? 400 pounds plus 2 pages of Beyond Her Powers." Forrest directly announced the price. Emlyn nodded gently. "Introduce what Beyond Her Powers are recorded first. If they aren't very useful to me, I wish for that price it can be lowered because I'll need to waste time recording powers. Damn. Forrest flipped through layman's travels and began to give a vague introduction. Door opening, black screen, tumble, teleport, lightning strike, float, flight, wind blades. Why are there so many powers in the storm domain? She's like, what the fuck? The world had used it before. He recorded the Beyonder powers corresponding to See got from Mr. Fool. When I return to the cathedral, I should find out what recently happened in Backland. The oracle couldn't have died without a trace. As Olger listened, he began thinking of investigating the matter. And not only that, I feel like Audrey, Derek, everybody in the Terra Club, they can probably ask Mr. Fool, like, hey, would you be able to add abilities? No, never mind, because then that'd give away his ability. Yeah, no, never mind. They wouldn't even be able to ask Mr. Fool. Maybe they can ask Mr. Fool, like, oh, if you have any mystical items that can use abilities, can you record in the book? And then maybe he'd choose, like, oh, okay, sure, why not? But let's go straight into the next chapter. Forrest basically became a lightning mage. It is so sick, dude. It's so cool, dude. Now they can like use this book during free exchange to help each other out. Ah, dude, my arm is so stiff from the gym. Ow, that hurts. That's too blasphemous. Ow, dude, when I went to the gym, my ow. No, it wasn't from that. My arm hurts if I pull it all the way in. Ow, man. I need a stretch right now. Damn, that shit hurts. All right, let me record the chapter and let's keep reading. 792. 792, The Fool's Authority. All right, bet. Timestamp. 45 minutes. 18 seconds. Copy, paste. How am I on? Format, text, and notepad. No, definitely not that. I pushed the wrong thing. What the fuck? Why is this thing all bolded now? That's weird. Did I? That's weird. Okay. We all have to stand up and stretch. Bro used his muscles too much. Dude, it was my first day back in the gym, man. I felt good. No, I felt good. I'm just a little sore. Because, like, hey, you guys have to help me find some spicy, sexy male cosplays that I can do next year, bro. Because the goal, my motivation right now is to get in damn good shape. Not this summer. I ain't gonna make it this summer. But next summer. So at Anime Expo, bro, we're like popping, bro, when we're walking around. It's gonna be sick, bro. It's gonna boost my ego so much if I can like cosplay in person, in public. Audrey liked that buff Anya. I didn't show you. I forgot to post a picture. Let me see if I can find it. I took a picture with the original buff Anya. I'm gonna post it on. I'll post it on Twitter later today. But I actually met Buff Anya at Anime Expo, dude. It was so fucking cool, man. Being able to meet him in person. I was like, "Are you the original Anya? The Buff Anya?" He's like, "Yeah, man, that's me." It's like, "Oh shit, that's fucking cool." Okay, we could probably do Buff Audrey. Okay, all right. We did talk about that one. Leonardo 100%. Shit, I can. I'm definitely gonna have to buy a wig for that one. But we can pull it off. We'll figure it out. We'll brainstorm ideas. Chapter 709. Yeah, we will brainstorm spicy male cosplay ideas that we can use at Anime Expo 2026. So I have 1 year to get in shape. That is the plan. Chapter 792 is called The Fool's Authority. So for people watching the video and not the live stream, if you guys have any spicy cosplay ideas that I can use at Anime Expo next year, let me know. I think I can pull off a Triss. I think I can pull that off. Well, we'll wait for the Dunqua reveal of Triss, which might be this week. Chapter 792 is called The Fool's Authority. The hermit similarly thought of the world of Gurmit Sparrow from hearing the Beyonder powers which were recorded in layman's travels. I wonder if I can pay a certain price to get the Fool to showcase demigod powers of the storm pathway. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Pathway, well as his domain, this will be better than seeking the help of Moses' ascetic order. This will make them know my possession of layman's travels. I should first write to Her Majesty. Perhaps she will come to the future to showcase her powers. Catlea was increasingly convinced that the spellbook had a value that exceeded its level and was very regretful that Miss Magician was only renting it. After hearing the description, Emmeline heaved a sigh of relief. This was because the Beyonder powers, like lightning, was very lethal against artificial vampires. Of course, it was the same for Sanguine. Very good. Lightning is very lethal against vampires. Of course, it's the same for sanguines, or artificial vampires and sanguines. Very good. I was still worried about needing to seek it. The sun's help in passing of layman's travels to him to get him to showcase the purification powers to be recorded. Emlyn instantly became relaxed as he glanced at Derek beside him while saying to Forge, deal. 400 pounds worth of recording of a few Beyonder powers was nothing compared to the completion of his mission. I can earn money quickly and also obtain Beyonder powers this way. Forge suddenly felt her future was bright as she hurriedly smiled. Alright, I'll get Mr. Fool to transfer it to you after the gathering. Right on the heels of that, she turned to Catlea. Ma'am, the Abraham family direct descendant has to give a reply. Do you wish to communicate privately or have me directly say it aloud? Catlea thought and said, let's do it privately. Do Evernight? You know what? I don't know what Evernight looks like yet. I don't know. But we can pull off like a buff Evernight. Maybe. We'll see. We'll wait until we get like an Evernight actual appearance. Actually, no. We do know her appearance from the marble statue. Soon the others had their senses blocked as Forrest recounted what her teacher said. They don't know much about Mr. Door either. They only know two things. No, three. First, among the ancestors, there is the existence known as Mr. Door. Second, this ancestor vanished in the War of the Four Emperors. They've been struggling to find him. Third, they will hear ravings that can cause a loss of control during the full moon of the blood moon. In addition, they temporarily do not wish to make any direct contact. The third point was added by Force by herself. She wished that Maram Hermit and Queen Mystic behind her could use this to further understand Mr. Door's matters. This was beneficial in helping Abraham escape the fate of the cursed. I am hearing a horror theme. Oh, the background music? Yeah, there is. It's right now I'm just playing Elden Ring background music. Mr. Door is Abraham's family ancestor, and he vanished in the War of the Four Emperors. He would create ravings during full moons. The latter was confirmed by Mr. Fool. So if there's nothing suspicious, that is to say that although Mr. Door has vanished, he still can affect Beyonders of the same bloodline, as well as living beings that use certain items during the full moon and blood moon. This means that he hasn't completely lost his connection in the real world. I'm sorry, beware the moon. Does that also maybe he's referring to Mr. Door. Maybe it's not Evernight. Maybe it's Evernight and Mr. Door? Lost his connection with the real world. This is how the Emperor was able to interact with him. Her Majesty once said that there were members of the Abraham family who worked for the Emperor back then. Catleus had some theories as she gently nodded. If there are any questions, I'll get you to pass them on. I'll pay you the remaining 650 pounds today. With 650 pounds, along with Mr. Moon's 400 pounds, I made a... Damn, she made bank already, dude. I've made a profit of 1,050 pounds today, together with 730 pounds from before, as well as the sale of the two properties to pay Mr. World. Damn, dude, she flipped her income so quickly, dude. I might still have 1,000 left. My savings are about to exceed 3,000 pounds. This way, I'll have the money needed to purchase the other main ingredients for the scribe. I might still have some left over. At that moment, Force suddenly found herself a little wealthy. Damn, she flipped it so quickly. You can try to check the first trailer for The Go's Apprentice in the Fog. I'll look that up right now. Yeah, for sure. Just remind me at the end. Okay, I can look into that, D. This made her consider helping purchase of the interrogator beyond her characteristic for Shio to make up for the risk that she had endured with Mr. X's assassination. After the blocking of senses was lifted, Forge heard the word Germanspur speak before she could say a word. I need a mystical item for the Marauder pathway. It can be at sequence 9 or 8. Catlea considered for a moment and said, I can ask around for you, however, items of the Marauder pathway aren't common. There might be a premium involved, no problem. Client control the world to provide response. Then he made his marionette look at the now wealthy Miss Magician. Wealthy Miss Magician. I want to sell the interrogated beyond her characteristic for only 1,000 pounds. Typically, this sequence 7 beyond her characteristic, which could be used as a main ingredient, should be priced at around 1,200 pounds. But client had 2 sets at the moment. Furthermore, considering how he had used Miss Shio's identity to participate in Mr. X's gathering, there's a certain degree of danger he was bringing to her. I feel like he should recruit her into the Terror Club by default after putting her in this much danger. Therefore, he gave a slight discount. It's only 1,000 pounds. That's like a sale at a department store. But why does Mr. World know that I wanted? He is Mr. Fool's blessed. The interrogator beyond her characteristic was in his hands, and he is also aware that I can now afford it. Forrest was stunned for 2 seconds as she nearly forgot to reply. During this process, Audrey held back the urge to engage in shopping because she knew that she needed the item. Damn, was she trying to like buy it? Yeah, what's up, man? Hello. 1,000 pounds and interrogators beyond her characteristic. Catlea seriously thought over the hidden intent behind the world when she heard Miss Magician say deal. I haven't even made an offer. Catlea mumbled inwardly as she maintained her silence. Damn. She's like, shit, I missed out. She could tell that the world and the magician had reached a strange level of understanding on this matter, so she didn't interject. Okay, they all knew like that was for her. Similarly, she also sensed that something good had happened to the hanged man this weekend. He appeared more spirited than before, appearing more confident. He leveled up, dude. He previously purchased the potion form of the main ingredients to the ocean songster. He had also asked me where obelisks that do not belong to the Church of the Storms can be found. This is likely related to the ritual he had already advanced. Catlea suddenly felt a sense of danger. Now Katlia doesn't feel like such a big shot anymore. Back then, she kept looking down on the Terror Club. But now she's like, oh shit, everybody is advancing way too quickly. Now she's starting to put some respect on everybody. As the Admiral Stars, who was famous throughout the five seas, she also felt a sense of superiority in the Terror Club. Not anymore. But in recent times, with the world German Sparrow showing his ability at hunting pirate admirals, followed by the Hangman reaching Sequence 5, a Sequence 5 that made him adapt at sea battles, she felt that she no longer had a right to belittle others. Exactly, dude. She got humbled quickly, dude. To belittle others, she felt a sense of urgency that hadn't existed in her for a long time. Now she needs to hit 4. However, I have Sequence 4 ahead of me. It's the boundary between spirituality and godhood. It's not that easy to advance. I still don't see any hope despite preparing for years. Katlia said inwardly as she looked at the world Grimmenspar and asked, any chances for the blood of a mystical creature? I've been waiting for you to ask for this. The full... Wait, what? Mystical... Oh, the freaking baby. He's like, I'm gonna get the baby blood soon, dude. I'll get you a drop of baby blood in like a week or two. And wait, no. There's still like a month before he's born, right? Any chance for the blood of a mystical creature? I've been waiting for you to ask this. The full client smiled while watching the transactions. You control the world to hoarsely laugh. Wait, that out of context, that sounds so evil. I'm sorry. We are talking within the context of Lord of the Mysteries, okay? We have an evil, no, not an evil baby. We got a snake of fate, snake of Mercury. It's okay. It's chill. It's chill. Like worms. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. The angel got me. I don't know why we're going. Wait, hold up. The angel got me to. Oh yeah, wait. Let's not talk about specific chapters. Just in case. The angel got me to ask you what you can give him in exchange for a drop of blood. He emphasizes that it needs to satisfy him. Angel, Mr. World, directly contacted an angel. Furthermore, he has convinced the angel to provide a drop of blood. Audrey was first alarmed before he thought, raced as she turned to look at the seat of honor. She suspected that the world Mr. Fool's blessed had contacted the angel that was in service to Mr. Fool. She was like the magician, believing that the world only knew of clues to the locations of an angels or its remains. They never expected him to directly converse with an angel. One had to know that the grounded angels were equivalent to the leaders of the 7 churches. Grounded angels, because grounded angels are closest to God. One had to know that that makes sense. One had to know that grounded angels were equivalent to the leaders of the 7 churches. Indeed, Augur sighed silently, believing that his guess had been verified. As expected of Mr. Fool's blast, Katlia held back her surprise and shook as she pondered. May I know what pathway this angel is from? The world surveyed the area and said, monster. Monster, which means that it's an angel from the fate pathway. It's no wonder Mr. Fool, honorific name, has the words Kings of Yellow and Black who wields good luck. Oh, what a coincidence. Audrey, Derek, and company were enlightened, believing that their inference matches the actual situation inherent in logic. Yeah, who wields good luck. Their gazes and guesses stirred Klein. He realized a corresponding problem. In the honorific name he fabricated, the description of wielding good luck had successfully been directed towards the mysterious space above the great fog. Is this related to why people from the fate pathway can see my uniqueness? Oh, because of that word. Not grounded angels are a subtype of angels that are used as messengers of God in mythology. So lower ranked than other. Oh, so there are lower ranked version of an angel. Grounded angels are sec 2. Time to reach 100. Okay, dude, thank you so much for explaining that, Cami. All right, thank you guys. Okay. Grounded angels are sec 2. All right, thank you, Richie. Okay, awesome. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it just... Okay. That makes more sense. Is this... I read this part. Is this related to why people from the fate pathway can see my uniqueness? Could this be related to why the Snake of Mercury, Will Ossipton, took the initiative to establish friendly ties with me? Because of the honorific name. In my honorific name, 3 lines. The first line is a description of my inherent self, and the second is about the corresponding divine domain. Only the third line involves the authority, wields good luck. Of course, the Fool itself can also contain a certain amount of authority. Klein suddenly felt that he needed to find an opportunity to communicate with an unborn fetus. However, he suspected that the paper crane would tear at any moment. This is because just erasing the original content was already a rather precarious process. At this moment, Kalia said, thanks for your help. I will seriously consider it and give you a response as soon as possible. She planned on consulting Queen Mystic to see if there were any conditions that would entice an angel from the fate pathway. With the conversation between the world and the hermit ending, the transaction came to a formal end. The Tarot gathering then proceeded into a period. I thought this was the free exchange. This wasn't the free communication part. The entire gathering then proceeded into a period of free communication. Forrest thought for a moment and looked at Emlyn. I'd like to remind you of two things. First, be familiar with the powers of each corresponding page. It would be very dangerous if you were to flip to the wrong page and use the wrong power in combat. Emlyn scoffed immediately and said, I'm very confident in my intelligence, because I'm a sanguine. Forrest didn't speak further and switched to mentioning, a serious case involving Beyonders happened in Eastboro. The surrounding rain is on high alert. If you plan on carrying out any operations, take note of that. Emlyn viewed this piece of information with great importance and asked, are you aware of what happened? Oh? Are we going to find out what happened? I was dethroned. Whoever has number 1 for 5 hours gets new mod privileges. I'm joking, dude. I'm sorry. I'm joking. That is a joke, by the way. No, my bad. All right, next chapter, 793. All right, 793. Let me sip some water and let's keep reading. Copy, paste. Chapter is 57 minutes, 22 seconds. Beautiful. 793. Primordial Hunt. I'm ready. I'm excited. Let me drink some water and let's keep reading. Let me just refresh this page up here. Oh wow, that's doing pretty good. Yeah. We've been live for an hour and 15 minutes. Oh wow. That went pretty quick. All right. Next chapter. Chapter 793 is called Surprise Visitor. Upon hearing Mr. Moon's question, Forrest neatly blurted out, of course, better than anyone else. I'm just too aware of the details. However, she controlled her mouth in time as she apprehensively looked at Mr. World. At the same time, Alger, Audrey, and Katlia vaguely guessed that the seriousness matter had happened in the Becklands Eastboro was the assassination of the Oral Order Oracle. Based on the inferences they had before it was done by the world, as Emlyn wasn't a spectator, he wasn't able to tell from her eyes. All Forrest could do was force a smile at Emlyn. I'm unable to tell you the specifics. I only know that the demigod level beyond the powers of the Storm domain appeared back then. The Church of the Storm places a great deal of attention over the matters. She didn't dare divulge the reasons on behalf of Mr. World, simply describing what she had seen. She believed that if Mr. World was willing to reveal more, he definitely would have added onto her answer. Demigod level beyond the powers of the Storm domain, Audrey and company were taken aback as they instinctively doubted the accuracy of their theories. They had previously imagined that Layman's Travels had been created after the death of the Aurora Order Oracle. Therefore, the world had no way of barring Mr. Fool's demigod powers to record them before the assassination. So now it's like, wait, this was made before. The serious case involving Beyonders in Eastboro had nothing to do with Mr. World. Wait, the serious case involving Beyonders in Eastboro had nothing to do with Mr. World. No, Forrest's glance at it is enough proof that it was caused by Mr. World. But why would a demigod level beyond power of the Storm domain appear? One possibility is that Layman's Travels is a result of this assassination, but it only originally belonged to Forrest. Another possibility is that a cardinal of the Church of Storms or Beyonder with a corresponding sealed artifact had delivered intact. If it were the former needing Mr. World to... Oh, they don't know that it came from the Sea God Scepter. Yeah, they don't know that. Oh, yeah, because he never had it out front. He just tossed it with his junk pile. If it were the former, needing Mr. World to use the Beyonder powers at the demigod level implies that the Oracle was relatively powerful, with the possible existence of a saint backing him. If it were the latter, to have Mr. World still be able to leave safely after such an assault implies his formidableness. Of course, the possibility can be eliminated that he deliberately lured the Church of Storms encounter the Aurora Order Oracles, as while a battle broke out between demigods, he effectively carried out an assassination during the chaos. Audrey made some guesses based on the details she had observed, and each guess implies one thing. The world had strength, intelligence, supported the ability, making him one of the top 5 sequence Beyonders below that of demigods. How terrifying, as expected of Mr. Fool's Bless. When I arrived at the cathedral, I should be able to figure out what happened. Alger also made a basic judgment on the situation as he sighed. All he could do was console himself. With such helplessness, the exploration of the permanent island would only be easier. As for Katlia, she shared similar thoughts with Audrey. She planned on asking Queen Mystic about the situation. The owner of the Dawn had previously revealed in her letter that she would be in Backland for the time being. I forgot about that. Demigod level beyond the powers of the Storm domain, Emlyn repeated Miss Magician's words as his head ached. Although he enjoyed staying at home and not heading out, he still needed to head out to get some blood to drink from the hospitals. Being in a big city was equipped with common knowledge, together with his older warnings and guidance, he knew a lot about the official organizations like the Machinery Hive 9, Mandated Punishers, and Nighthawks. He knew the influence that a serious case would bring to the area. If I don't have a good disguise while infiltrating Eastboro, I might be caught by the Mandated Punishers before I even approach my target. Although I have the identity of being part of the Church of the Earth Mother and wouldn't be impounded, the Undergrounder made it into a test subject of sealed artifacts. This also means that my operations has failed. I might even have layman's travels taken away. During such times, taking the sewers would be even more dangerous. Who knew how many official Beyonders are lying in ambush over there? Emlyn suddenly felt that would seem like a simple mission had turned difficult. He quickly came to the decision that he would take action in the latter half of the night. During this time, the low-class residents of Eastboro would be returning from home from work. Although it was dark, the streets would be bustling. Even the mandated punishers had 10 times more manpower. It was impossible to carry out any strict surveillance and single out every possible suspect. The next important step is to plan the operations to finish off 2 artificial vampires without causing much of a stir. I'll have to consider situation of an intense battle that's impossible to hide. Wait, Miss Magician has just mentioned that Layman's Travels has a beyond power known as teleport. The problem is resolved. Emlyn heaved a sigh of relief and chuckled. I will keep that in mind. He had said that the sentence very calmly and without great confidence, as though everything was in control. This fellow Emlyn was first stumbled before feeling relieved. There's a 90% chance he recalled the Traveler's Door in Layman's Travels. If I had obtained traveling, I definitely wouldn't have added the condition that no one is to touch that spellbook page before the world Germansboro. Klein scoffed silently without a word. To him, oh, you're right. Like, if he didn't have it, then he'd be like, do not touch that. Like, I'm gonna need it. To him, as there was only one Traveler's Door in Layman's Travels, he definitely needed to use Creeping Hunger for him to return trip to the primitive island. In that case, he might as well exploit the glove as needed to feed a deaf row convict to it. He didn't want to waste it. Anyways, I've warned you. Forrest didn't speak further, wishing that everyone would go smoothly with Mr. Moon. At that moment, Olga turned to look at the sun. Are you still in the City of Silver? Yes, my recent mission is to acquaint myself with my powers and patrol the surrounding areas. Derek replied honestly. Olga thought for a moment before saying, has the Shepherd Elder not looked for you recently? She looked at him in last stream, very conspicuously. He didn't sense that, though. No, Derek paused. The 6-member council seems to be busy with the former chief's mausoleum. As for what it is, I'm not privy to this information. Klein had heard Little Sun mentioned as the former chief of the City of Silver. It was said that he had built a mausoleum that reached deep underground before moving into it, and he hadn't appeared again. It was suspected that his attempt to switch the sequence tree of the death pathway had failed. What? Let me reread that again. I read that a little too quickly. Klein had heard Little Sun mention the former chief of City of Silver. It was said that he had built a mausoleum that... Oh, Colin Iliad did that? I don't remember that. Gotta go for a bit? No, it's okay, love. We'll have the VOD up right away, just in case. It was said that he had built a mausoleum that reached deep underground before moving... I forgot about that. Before moving into it. Oh, not Colin Iliad. Before him. And he hadn't appeared again. It was suspected his attempt to switch the sequence tree of the death pathway had failed. Colin, just to go... Giant, former, the previous, my bad, the one before Colin. There you go. Now it's clicking. Yeah, it wasn't Colin, it was the previous captain. I wonder what happened inside the mausoleum. My spiritual intuition tells me that there's danger involved. Before Klein spoke, he heard Alger said to take note of this matter. To investigate the former chief's mausoleum at such a critical moment means that it's something important and might bring you danger. Okay, Derek nodded strongly. I'll do my best to figure out the specifics. The exchange continued. As the members didn't encounter much this week, this segment quickly came to an end. The Terror Club members began teaching the Sun mysticism languages of the outside world as they learned about the ancient myths from him. During this process, Audrey was a little disappointed and depressed. She had failed to buy anything or share anything this week, and her participation appeared lacking. Sigh, my life has been too quiet and stable. I have nothing to share, however, this is normal. As a daughter of one of the top 3 bankers in the kingdom, a daughter of Eastchester Earls, if I were to frequently encounter the Beyonder matters and experience these alarming and exciting matters every week, the means that the present society and government structure is unable to maintain the order of Beyonder world, it would be definitely result in the fundamental change to everything, When I return to Backland, my contact with the psychology alchemist will increase. When I return to Backland, my contact with the psychology alchemist will increase. I'll be able to change the situation. Audrey rapidly became optimistic as she stood up and bade Mr. Fool farewell. Over the past half year, she had read quite a number of useful books thanks to Susie. In terms of proficiency and maturity, she was a lot better than before. Backland, Northborough, 160 Boakland Street. After entering the Tarot Club, Klein walked to the attached balcony to his bedroom, and he looked at the surrounding environments, which was filled with vegetation. With Miss Magician's attempt to rent out layman's travels, there will be more of such Tarot Club transactions in the future. They may not have realized that their own Beyond Their Powers can be sold. They might have not realized that their own Beyond Their Powers can be sold. Once the rental happens more frequently, someone will ultimately request someone to help record a particular power. Yeah, it's true. I feel like the whole rental thing is going to expand a lot more as people start using it more often. When the time comes, I'll be able to supply Beyond Their Powers of varied domains thanks to the numerous mystical items I have. It won't be too expensive, but it's long-lasting, and it will often be in demand. I wonder who will be the first to muster their courage to seek the fool for help. Hoping that a demigod power can be recorded, this needs to be a fair exchange and a sufficient price needs to be paid. If no one dares take the step, afraid that it's blasphemous, I can let the world be an example. After all, Mr. Fool has shown his friendliness and casualness from the beginning. As long as no mistakes are made, similar transactions can be made. Having the president of punishment, Ma'am Herman, I don't believe anyone will belittle the fool as a result. Yeah, not anymore. They would be honored, delighted, and fearful. Klein thought about the Tarot Club as his thoughts wandered, filled with anticipation towards the trade of the Beyond Their Powers in the future. At this moment, he heard knocking at the door. Please enter. Dwayne Dantes, with the gray sideburns, turned around and said. The doorknob turned at the opened, and the door opened. Butler Walter, in his white gloves, walked in and said respectfully, Sir, Ma'am Mary from the National Atmospheric Pollution Council is here to visit you. Friendliness of Gurman. We'll see about that. Do you wish to meet her? Mary Scott, the major shareholder of the coin company, the lady who got me to investigate her former husband's adultery. Oh, her, Mary. Yeah, the lady who got me to investigate her former husband's adultery. That was in volume 2. Why is she here? Don't tell me that Dwayne Dantes had caught her fancy. Clang was slightly puzzled as he nodded with a smile. He's like, ain't no way. I helped her catch someone for adultery. Now she's going to do the same. It's almost tea time. Tea time. It is tea time. Let's have it a little earlier. All right, I will invite Ma'am Mary to the activity room on the second story. Walter easily understood his employer's intentions. Klein nodded slightly without saying anything else. With the help of his valet, Richardson, he wore his coat and went down to the second story. Soon he saw Ma'am Mary with her tall cheekbones in the activity room. This lady was dressed in a dark blue dress with elegant accessories and an ostentatious but restrained manner. Compared to last year, she appeared more classy with a higher temperament. Good afternoon, ma'am. I've always been considered finding a time to visit you. I would wish to hear about your investigations on Backland's atmospheric pollution. Klein took the initiative to speak politely. Mary replied with a smile. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to wait for it. After exchanging for a few words of pleasantries as they talked about the recent weather, Klein sat on a single-seater as he raised his porcelain teacup. Ma'am, you seem to have something troubling you. He could tell that Mary was hesitant and deliberating. Mary laughed as he sighed. I've heard about your experiences and wisdoms. I believe that you're a gentleman with excellent foresight. Okay, where is this going to head to? This is the thing. Are you interested in purchasing some of the coin company shares? Ah, okay. She's just trying to sell part of the company. Or share. Why? Ma'am, are you in trouble? Klein asks in a stated manner. Mary shook her head. Someone else is selling them? Dwayne is aura farming? Definitely, dude. He has the ancient aura farming ability, dude. All right, next chapter, 794. Okay? 794. Copy, paste. 1 hour, 9 minutes. Oh, 8 seconds. Wait, hold up. I hit up Wiz yesterday. Let's see if you read my message. Give me a sec. Let me just see if you saw my message. One sec. Give me a sec. Let me just open up Discord. Has he replied? Oh yeah, he did respond. Hell yeah. We're talking about F1. Hell yeah, dude. I got a buddy to talk about F1 with now. Hell yeah, dude. I'm fucking pumped. We're gonna watch the next one next week. Hell yeah, I'm fucking pumped. All right, 794. Chapter 794 is called Short-Term... what did I just say? Short-Term Investment. Someone else is selling. Klein ruminated over the words without immediately asking. After the servant placed the silver tree layer trace down for high tea and left, he said with a smile, "Ma'am, why don't you purchase it yourself? Even a blind person knows that the loan will place more attention on environmental pollution in the future. Therefore, the coin company that deals with the authenticite and high quality charcoal definitely have a promising future. It's being worth £500,000 or even £1,000,000 wouldn't be fantasy. Of course, the premise is that the company's management can keep up with the corresponding expansion. In such a situation, the acquisition of shares in coin company is definitely a profitable business. If I were you, I take it for myself, no matter how much debt I got myself into." Mary uses two fingers to prick a cucumber sandwich from the bottom of the silver tray, took a tiny nimble, slowly chewed before slowing it down. This sounds like a pyramid scheme. It's probably going to be another pyramid scheme. There was a pyramid scheme in the Tarot Club. Now there's a pyramid scheme in this part. With this as a buffer, she finally organized her words. Ever since the law to fix atmospheric pollution was passed, the coin company had been rapidly developing. The faces of the shareholders had begun changing. As you know, people who have their sights on money will often have good business senses, and behind them there are usually some powerful figures at play. If I weren't a member of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council and had used this to get to know quite a number of nobles and high-ranking government officials, I believe I wouldn't be able to withstand the pressure, and I would end up selling my shares at a relatively good price. I would then leave the stage with a considerably good profit, but even so, most of the shares will quickly concentrate and I'll quickly lose my status as the high shareholders losing control over the company's directions. This is something I inherited from my father. I don't want it to become somebody else's toy. I wish for it to slowly develop into the biggest anthracite and high-quality supplier to Backland, or even all of Lowen Kingdoms. It's not that I haven't tried other solutions. I've pledged my shares and sold my property, investigating a large sum of my liquidity into it, absorbing 15% of the shares in secret, as well as requesting friends that I can trust to help obtain a total of 10% of the shares. Together with the 20% I originally had, I hold 45% in total. Damn, that's a lot. The current situation is that a minor shareholder suddenly decided to liquidate his 3%, and my friends and I temporarily do not have the money to acquire it. This is a commercial war. This was a first client who was accustomed to dealing with Beyonders. He found it fresh but also unfamiliar. He similarly reached out his hand and selected a sandwich which had high quality turkey at the bottom of the 3-layer tray. As he ate, he contemplated for about 10 seconds and said, "The shares that you acquire later can also be pledged, right? There won't be enough time. The other party has already provided an offer and the transaction can be closed at any time." Mary said as he finished the food in his head. Klein leaned back in his sofa in a relaxed manner. "Why did you come to me?" Upon hearing the question, Ma'am heaved a sigh of relief. "First, you must have brought quite a sizable amount of money to Backland. You wouldn't need to raise the funds through different means. Second, you just came to Backland, so you aren't deeply involved with other parties or in the other aspects. This also means that I'm not afraid that you won't violate the terms of the agreement. Even if you choose to align with them, you'll have to consider if it's worth violating the law. Third, although we've only met once, I believe you are a very dignified and knowledgeable gentleman. All it took was one meeting. Dwayne must have fight the financial arena now. Now even more dangerous than the Beyonder battle. This is going to be even more tricky situation. Laggers and me, I'm not sure. I think right now on my end, it says it's pretty stable. So I'm not entirely sure, Cammy. Not sure. Yes, praise is leaving me a little embarrassed. However, it also means that my acting performance as Dwayne Dantes is effective. At the very least, everyone knows that he's a middle-aged gentleman with foresight and competence, with plenty of money that he has nowhere near to invest. Considering that the original 16,493 pounds and Miss Magician's 6,000 pounds, as well as the 48 pounds provided by Mr. X, I have a total of 22,991 pounds and 5 gold points. Even if I deduct the 5,987 pounds I owe Miss Messenger, I'll be considered a true tycoon. Damn, he has money. Is she the lady? Yeah, this is the lady he helped in Volume 2. With, like, the Beyonder camera, right? Klein couldn't help but do a count of his wealth as he asked with a smile, "Ma'am, what do you wish for me to do?" Murray slipped some tea and said eloquently, "Acquire the 3% shares, but before that, I'll sign 2 contracts with you. The first contract stipulates that I'll forcefully purchase the shares from you in 3 months and buy it at the highest price." This is literally insider trading. Holy shit. Klein is actually getting into insider trading. Is that how it works? The first contract stipulates that I'll forcibly purchase the shares from you in 3 months and buy it at the highest price over this period of time. The corresponding tax will be shouldered by me. It sounds too good to be true. The second contract stipulates that we act in concert. In addition, I will make you a member of the board of directors of the coin company. You will enjoy the corresponding perks as you monitor the company's developments. This will help you be integrated even better into high society. Sounds like a sure win. What's the catch? Remember when he didn't have any money? Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like, he literally grew up in the slums and like he worked his way up out of poverty. And not only that, like he helped Benson. Like, he only didn't help himself, he also helped Benson and Melissa. Even though like they lost a brother, he also still helped them get out of that life, which is crazy, dude. Sounds like a sure win-win. It's equivalent to me providing a loan, and Ma'am Mary will repay me with a certain amount of interest and social resources. And compared to a debt agreement, I'll be holding onto the shares of an excellent company. I'll be more secure. After all, we consider strangers. Of course, that's under the premise that the coin company itself is alright. This is also why she's making me a director. Client analyzed the condition proposed by Ma'am Mary and slowly felt enticed by them. From his point of view, Dwayne Dantes needed some investments, otherwise he wouldn't appear suspicious. Then selecting the kind of investment was a rather important problem, since it had to be considered that Dwayne Dantes might have to give up everything and leave Backland because his operations failure or success. When the time comes, there's a chance to take away the money, but I can forget about the shares. This kind of investment, one that allows me to quickly recoup my investments, meets the requirements. I might even earn quite a bit. Klein contemplated for a moment before a worldly smile. He chose to solve the problem, the scheme of the financial battle. Helping a lady resolve the problems is something. Helping a lady is something that I need to do. Ma'am Mary immediately felt relieved. Just as she was about to say something, she heard Dwayne Dantes' attractive voice continue. Ooh. However, I'm rather cautious in regards to the investments I make. I will hire a lawyer and accounting team to investigate the coin company situation. I'll try to reach a conclusion as quickly as possible, and if there aren't any problems, we can begin our cooperation. Aside from that, I will also do a divination. Klein silently added it early. Definitely. Ma'am Mary smiled and added, I'll bear the cost for such expenses. Klein didn't reject the offer as he nodded and said, how much will the 3% shares cost? The current value is 9,600 pounds, but the shareholders believe that the coin company has a promising future, so it can't be lower than 12,000 pounds. Mary gave him the exact detail. Klein used a calm and relaxed manner. He's like, I can afford that. That's still all right. Dwayne Dantes is indeed rich. Mary thought as she said, Dwayne, can I invite you to visit the coin company tomorrow? That's exactly what I wish for. Klein replied with a smile. At the same time, he couldn't help but think of something. His former landlord, Stelline Samir's husband, was likely still a manager at the coin company. Oh, look at that. We're going to meet old faces. Yet another familiar face, but it's not one of Dwayne Dantes. Klein felt wistful for some baffling reason. At 8 p.m., there's still crowds of people entering Eastboro from the other streets. Fatigue obviously colored their faces. And this continued almost until 10. Emlyn White had changed into a grayish-blue worker's attire, wore a cap, and hid himself in the alley of the Backland Bridge area while observing the poor that sauntered back and forth. Although he didn't have any experience in disguising himself, he had eyes and brains. Just a short observation was enough for him to discover the problems with his attire. The most important point was that compared to the poor who had dirty and ragged clothes, the work attire he had bought in the afternoon was too new and clean, easily attracted the attention of others. Emlyn thought for a moment, returned to the dark alley, and reached out his fingers. Using what he had seen, he had been tearing open the areas that were easily damaged. Then he observed his surroundings as his facial muscles gradually distorted into grimace. With a look of contempt, Emlyn came to the wall, closed his eyes, and began dabbing the dirt on his clothes and pants. The smell of coal, the smell of rotting mud, the smell of piss. Emlyn subconsciously extended his palm away from himself as he covered his mouth with his other hand. He nearly vomited. At that moment, he realized that having an extraordinary sense of smell wasn't necessarily a good thing. It's a double-edged sword. Man, you dropped Shadow Slave? No, I didn't. It's not, I have it on hold right now since it's such a long series. Look, let me pause the recording for the video. Let me break down what I'm planning to do as a schedule. This is what I'm planning to do. I was thinking about it. Now that I have my Monwa scene recorded, and look, let me show this quickly. Now that I can do this when I'm reading, what I'm planning to do is, these are the two Monwas I'm planning to read right now. Eliseed, ROV, and read the RI remake. And then what I'm hoping to do is twice a week read Shadow Slave. I won't necessarily be long streams. The greatest estate developer. I know. Well, before I start greatest estate developer, I just want to see if I can. I want to like starting next. Like I think Saturday or Sunday I'm gonna just read like 5 chapters of Shadow Slave and upload it because I feel bad that I haven't read for so long. But next week I want to plan like a proper schedule from Monday to Sunday, and I'm gonna post it. I'll be like Saturday or Sunday I'm gonna post like, hey, this is my schedule for the week. Smile. And that's what I'm probably going to do. I'm going to be like, Seed is on this day, followed by LOTM. When will you start the pans? When will you start the pans? Wait, what does that mean? When we start the pans? RI Remake is monthly, so probably just read the first 2 chapters now and read R2C. Oh, it's monthly. Maybe choosing a day in the week and only reading Shadow Slave this day. Yeah, it's like, I want to try like a proper streamer schedule. Oh, when will you start the plans? I want to try it next week. I want to try next week. Cause look, I'm gonna end stream in about 1 chapter. Oh shit, I gotta end stream in the next 28 minutes. So I'll read this chapter in 1 chapter. Shadow Slave has small chapters compared to it. Yeah, no, I know it's small chapters, but the only reason I haven't been reading so much Shadow Slave, cause I don't know how I'm gonna be able to juggle like 2 really long series. But it's mostly right now since it's still fan made, so they don't have much budget for a team, of course. Okay, but super high quality. Okay. Yeah, I saw like a quick like snippet on my Twitter feed. Yeah, it's just chapters are short as fuck. Yeah, no, I remember, dude. We went through like 7 chapters in like a pretty quick time. I want to try doing, because yeah, just, you know what? Let me read this chapter and next chapter, and then we'll try and plan a schedule. If that's cool with you guys. We'll try and plan it out. Here, let me finish this and we'll try and plan it out. Yeah, so we'll try and plan a schedule for next week. Emlyn cocked his ears and listened for a while before he stopped pinching his nose in puzzlement. He nearly fainted from the stench, waffling over from the washroom. It took him a great bit of effort to focus his gaze on the room. He sensed a smile and told him that there wasn't anyone inside, nor were there any corpses. He moved away, or he isn't back. Emlyn muttered silently in daze. He never expected his hunt to be so unsuccessful. After reining in his emotions, Emlyn left the condominium and rushed 19 Bellic Wall Street. This time, he was delighted to discover that someone was home. Gallus Kevin was home. At that moment, Emlyn caught the scent of another person. It was very identical to Argo's apartment at Limestone Street. There are two people in the room. Argos isn't home because he came to Gillespie Kevin. Wow, the music is so loud. Oh my, the Elden Ring music just picked up out of nowhere. Argos isn't home because he came to Gallus Kevin. Emlyn's expression suddenly froze. He wasn't worried that if it was 1-on-1, but if it was 1 against 2, he was still a little fearful with layman's travels. After all, the 2 of them were artificial vampires, rather significant strength. Oh shit, we're getting a vampire fight next chapter? Oh shit, wait, I think we might stop here. And then we plan our schedule, and then we read the vampire fight tomorrow. Wait, 1 sec. Let me quickly do this timestamp. We can talk about it. I think we end here. You know what? Yeah, let's just end here. Let's do overall thoughts, and then we're going to try and plan the schedule. The plan is to read for the plan is to read for like 3.5 hours every day next week. I want to try that. Well, like a schedule, just to try it out. But here, let's see. Let's just do overall thoughts. Yeah, we'll just end it right here. And then maybe we come back a little bit later before the episode comes out. Why? I still need to watch the episode and start editing at least that episode. Yeah, so I think it might be better we just end right here. That way I have time to watch episode 4 and quickly trim it down before episode 5 comes out. Overall thoughts. All right, yeah, we'll just do overall thoughts. 795. All right, we're just gonna do overall thoughts. We're gonna end it. That way I can watch episode 4, 5 off stream, get that ready, and then I can try and plan a schedule. So, quick thoughts. I'm really excited to see what Beware of the Moon means. Beware the Red Moon. That sounds so sinister. There are so many implications behind Beware of the Red Moon. Like, are we referring to the primordial demoness? Are we referring to the Evernight Goddess? Are we referring to Mr. Door? And then maybe the door has some, like a traveler, or like the door is like some form of bridge for transmigrators. We are mooning. We were definitely mooning this stream. Oh yeah, the moon. It's like, what does that mean, dude? We'll leave it there. But that's really exciting. I want to see where that goes. So if you like what you see and want to see more, make sure you like, comment, sub, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Sorry, that sounded really loud. Peace, and have a good day. All right, later, guys. All right, so we're just gonna end that right there. Oh yeah, the moon, dude, Wiz. Sorry, I didn't respond back to your message right now. For dude, I got so into F1, man. I'm fucking hooked. Yeah, it's so crazy, man. He finally got his first podium after like 200 plus runs or whatever. It's crazy, dude. Mooning and the result was already preparing to become a sequence 0 at the same time. So strong. It's crazy, man. Wait, here. Let me open up a tab. Let me see if I can set up a schedule. Well, let's just try this out. Let me just loop this for now. Bye, man. Let's see. Do Max Verstappen. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It was so fucking sick. He like finally got his podium. That's so fucking cool. I got a little emotional watching that. It's so cool how like they sell you on the story, man. All right, let's see. Let's try this. I can't zoom in more. I had max zoom. All right, so let's just do this. I don't know, man. I can't even do a schedule. First, let's just. The goal is to do LOTM every day. That's the default. LOTM every day. Hold up. That's still the goal, right? Just because it's such a long series, I feel like if we finish that, then we'd be able to like read more stuff. But LSC is on Tuesdays, so it'd be LSC, LOTM. Maybe choosing a day in the week. Oh wait, I read that one earlier. Many last year's Monaco GP where Charles went at home. I shed a tear. Dude, I'm on season 2 of the Drive to Survive on Netflix. It's so sick. Do you want to see the pathways chart I mentioned, by the way? Link it on Discord. Yeah, bet. All right. Wait, hold up. I think I can do this. Oral V can be on Wednesdays. Right? 1 hour Oral V. 2 hours. LOTM. It's on general? Okay. I got you. Friday is short streams. I think Fridays now, I just have to make them short streams. Yeah, Fridays, I think by default just have to be short streams. Because I can't read that much on Friday. And then the episodes come out. So it would be SSS. Maybe. SSS and 2 hours. 1 hour. Maybe 1 hour SSS. 2 hours LOTM. What's Wiz said is true. By the way, no spoilers here or anything, but the ending of Volume 4 is better than Volume 1. Hey, shut the fuck up, Wiz. Shut the fuck up. You do not mean that. Really? Damn. Are you pulling my strings? Are you being for reals? Ending of Volume 4 is goated? Fuck, man. Ah, that's exciting. People told me, I remember originally people were saying like, oh, 4 is kind of slow. But then everybody's over here telling me it's so freaking peak now. Yeah, Volume 4, Volume 6 ending is goated. The spirit sin came into my boy. Dude, I'm excited. Nah, dog, for real? Bet. All right. I'm ready. I'm fucking pumped. Fuck, man. Fuck, I have to end stream right now. I have to end stream in 20 minutes. Because I am going to go out today for like a party. And then after that, it's, I was going to go watch Superman at night. What's more like a kickback? Maybe Sundays be a random manhwa day. A few chapters of whatever manhwa. You know what? Username? I think that works. Random. I think like a random manhwa day. Yeah, random manhwa day. And Saturdays 1 hour. I think this is a good template. This is a good template. This is I think this could work. OROV manhwa is awesome. You'll enjoy it. Yeah, I only read like the first chapter, dude. I liked it. It was pretty cool. Now we can wait for Zay to come back on Tuesdays. Username. Dude, username. Did you see he responded on one of our videos? He responded. He responded on one of our videos. I was like, holy shit, Zay, dude. I haven't heard from Zay in months, man. I miss that guy. Damn, dude, he responded. See if you can tag him and make a community post with a schedule. Dude, it's I think he posted it on one of our videos. Wait, hold up. Let me show you guys. He either posted it yesterday or 2 days ago. I was like, what the fuck is Zay? He's alive. Once you read the 30 chapters of Shadow Slave, you will get hooked. I know. That's the one thing I'm worried about, man. Because it's such a long series also. And I'm like, fuck. All right. Look, let me show you. But I do want to read it. Poor Zay. No, he didn't respond on this one. I think it was the one with the Trissy thumbnail. No, it's not on the one of the Trissy thumbnail. I think it was before Trissy. Oh, it's the one with Adam and Mr. X. Yeah, and this one. The one from 2 days ago where I posted Adam and Mr. X on the thumbnail. They responded, bro. I was like, dude, I haven't heard from him in so long, dude. By the way, replied, by the way, in your daily live that I can see you know your time. Oh, the last comment? Wow. His last comment was from like 7 months ago, man. Yeah, it tells me right here. His previous comments. Damn, that's crazy. It was so long ago. I haven't read Elicid in so long, man. I read like 30 chapters off stream. Zay is so excited that I didn't know who he is. Hey, I see him. Interesting arc of Shadow Slave starts around 30 chapters. Okay. So, wait, hold up. What was the last chapter I read for Shadow Slave? I think what I might do, I might reread those 7 chapters off stream. Like what I've read so far. I might read those off stream. One sec. Why am I doing this on my phone where I could have just done it from my computer? Why am I doing that? So the last chapter I read for Shadow Slave was chapter 7. I'm gonna probably reread 1 through 7 by myself off stream. Just so I can remember what I read. I mean, I do remember. He's like in his first nightmare or watch videos. Zay was back in the manhwa era. Yeah, it was me, Zay, username, and a few others. Like we would read manhwa, but it was before I had a filter, so I didn't know. I was like, I think I can get away with not having a filter. Clearly, I didn't because I got a strike. And you know what's crazy, man? When it was an automated strike, bro, 4 videos got claimed, and I am so thankful that it claimed 4 recent videos as 1 strike, bro. If those 4 videos were claimed separately, the videos, the YouTube channel would have been deleted. And because I was like under 1,000 subs, there would have been no way to recover. I would have been so unmotivated to keep doing YouTube. Bro got too arrogant and was punished by the heaven YouTube. I did. I got too confident that I can get away with it. What's the best website to read manhwas? There's a couple, bro. Yeah, I flew way too close to the sun. I would avoid. Well, look, right now I just read on the Webtoon website. I read on the official Webtoon website. Scan later sites are usually, but yes, people read on scan later websites. Like some of the more popular translations are like Azure Scans. Like there's a few different scanlation companies that you can probably find that have like their own sites up. But I think this could work. I think the schedule could work. Monday we only read Lord of Mysteries because it's a tarot club, tarot gathering, tarot club day. Tarot Club Day. Stuff updates daily. Ellis Seed, 2-hour LOTM. I think this can work. I think this can work. I think this can work. I think this can work, right? Came back and all right, 2 in terms of. I think this is gonna work, man. Tuesday. Aura plus. I think this is gonna work, man. I just, if I'm consistent, I might be able to pull this off. Finally finished the VOD. Oh, you finished it? What's up, dude? I think this can work. All right, I think I'm gonna end it. I'll check at the time right now. You better back up this schedule, unlike the other ones that were forgotten. I know. There's a lot of unforgotten. How many chapters? I'm gonna finish right there because I have to end stream in like 10 minutes. I have to end stream in 10 minutes. So right now we're kind of just chilling, hanging out. This could work. Famous last words. Fucking syrup. You know what, man? This is famous last words. Look, I can stream max like 3 hours a day, right? Before I have to do other IRL stuff. I think Tuesday, LSC is like a 15-minute chapter, maybe 30 minutes max, depending on how hype it is when we talk about it a lot. It's like 20 to 30 minutes LSC, and then it'll be like the remaining hours would be LOTM. I just put 2 hours for time's sake, dedicated to LOTM. And then same for Wednesday. Wednesday 33. So it'd be like I'd be reading 1 hour of SSS on Thursdays, 1 hour of SSS on Saturdays. Lag? I think it probably did lag. I think this can work though. And then heavy lag. Oh, it's back? Okay. And then I think tomorrow I will read. Shit. No, I'm not gonna read SSS right now. No. I do want to reread those 7 chapters by myself off stream, just so I can remember. So, fuck, man. Tomorrow, what was I gonna do tomorrow? Fuck, I had to do something tomorrow. Oh, I can't stream for a long time tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll stream around the same time. We should hopefully be able to stream for like 4 hours if I don't go to the gym. Maybe I'll go to the gym before or gym after. We'll see. I should be able to stream tomorrow. I'll read more Lord of the Mysteries. And I think Sunday, I'll do a random Manhwa Monday. So I'll read the RI stuff first. The RI. Yeah, I'll read RI. I'll read the Revered Insanity Manhwa, and then I'll read ROV for like another hour. And then I'll read Lord of the Mysteries. And if I'm caught up, if I've read this, I'm pretty sure I would have read the 7 chapters. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do SSS on Sunday. Unlike the other Unk, this one actually has an auntie sad stuff. Be more like Wiz Trust. Wait, what? Oh, you mean the missus? I know. Wiz has a lot of free time right now. Dang, man, he got way too much free time. What's going on here? He's literally about to hit chapter 1,000. What? How, man? How? Yeah, no, I have an auntie. Unk has an auntie, so my free time has to be split right now. And then also because of my dog. Man, me and Ellie were so lazy in bed. We were like, she was sleeping on my lap for like 30 minutes. I could have been live 30 minutes earlier, but I was just hanging out with her. It was so cute. Easy got too much of a life. You know what, man? I do apologize for that. I do have somewhat of a IRL life. No, I don't. Now wait, hold up. That sounds mean, saying like, oh, I have a life. No. It's like, it's crazy, man. At heart, I remain unemployed. Dude, I want to be unemployed so badly. I want nothing but to not work and not have social friends. Like I don't want a social life and I don't want to work. Bro, proud you're touching grass? I know. I am proud I'm touching grass. Dude, when I almost said where I went. Holy shit. When I took my plane flight and I went out, I touched grass for 4 days. I was off social media. I was off YouTube. I responded to a few videos here and there. But what's it called? No, it sounds mean saying I have a life. Cause like, oh, I have a life, this and that. So that's why I don't stream long. That sounded mean. So I'm taking that part back. That sounded mean. But no, what was I saying? When I was out, I unironically touched grass and it was crazy. I caught up with Eliseed off stream. I caught up with Beginning After the End off stream. I read Solo Leveling Ragnarok. I read like 80 chapters of SSS. And I was just reading in my head. So I was reading them so fast. I was going through them so quickly. And then the rest of my time was touching grass. It was crazy, man. It was a really crazy random moment. It reminded me of how I used to like consume media. How I'd consume manga and manhwa. Like when I wasn't streaming. It was crazy. We did the Tibet manhwa or novel. Manhwa. So I finished volume 6. Holy shit, man. the finale with, oh my god, it was so crazy, dude. Oh my god, season 6 finale was crazy. What was the last arc in SSS? Dude, they're like in the shoujo world right now. They're on the like roughly in floor 30s where they have to enter the book worlds. So they did the last book world. They did the Burin book world. I've had that LOL. I got like 2 strikes one time. I just stopped posting for like 90 days till they got removed. Yeah, it's scary, dude. The Date Noble War arc was so good. I loved it, man. It's crazy. I read all of season 6 of Debate. It's so fucking good, man. Yeah, I'm on the romance novel right now. It's so funny. The Black Dragon lady, she's like, well, I'm not I don't read romance, but I guess I'll go. It's like, I guess I'll join you. And then she's like a super big fucking romance book lover. It's so fucking funny, dude. I love it. Yeah, I'm in the shoujo arc one. It's really different. I don't read shoujo, so I'm not used to the shoujo tropes, but I do find it funny how they're trying to break the shoujo tropes. Yeah. You need to get a job so we can catch up, man. Exactly, Richie. No, I'm kidding, man. No, you take your time, Wiz. No, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, it's like you're the only thing I don't know. The only reason I'm not reading your titles, Wiz, I don't know why there's a red guy on your thumbnail. That's the only thing I don't want to know. There's like some dude in like red hair. I don't want to know what that means. I suggest reading the debate novel after a bit. The manga will take decades to adapt. I know, man. I wanted to. I want to read it, man. I want to read it. I want to try this schedule. Would you try to spoil you? No, it's okay. I don't read the full title. Luckily, I assume he puts like whatever spoiler catchy thumbnail name at the end. So once I read the word LOTM, I don't read the rest, just to be safe. I don't even want to read what chapter he's at. Actually, I read right before this chapter. I do like the blurry eyesight thing, and that's pretty much it. Hello, everyone. What's up, Moon? Beware of Moon right there. Beware of Moon in chat. That debate novel is too depressing. Oh, I need a little bit of that right now. I need to cry on stream again. I miss it. Also, debate combat and novel is very good. LOTM later. I did read it. I remember I read a little bit of the novel. Before season 6 started, I read a little bit of the novel because I couldn't wait anymore. Like, this was like before I was doing all this on YouTube. Was it 200 chapters ahead of you? Fuck, man. Don't say that, Moon. Don't say that. If I can read 4 chapters a day, I can read like 30 chapters. If I were to only read Lord of Mysteries for like this whole week, I think I can knock out 30 to 40 chapters. If Easy shows up on stream recently just to gifts spoil him, oh shit, no, definitely not gonna look at the gifts. Oh shit, really? All right, we can probably catch up. No, I don't know. Oh, no, I can't. Wait, no, this whole schedule, it's already fucked, man. Because the next Grand Prix is this Friday to Sunday. Well, not today, but a week from now. We need to send a demoness to Wiz to slow him down. Is Easy's voice cutting in and out for anyone else? Oh, if my audio spikes, I think it's too loud. I have to lower it. Just you? Oh no, maybe. No? I don't know, maybe. All right, I think I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna head out. I have to end stream now. I'll have the video uploaded. If you guys want to watch the Omniscient Reader Viewpoint video, it's up. It's like 15 minutes love. It's like 15 minutes love. It's like 15 minutes long. Show some love. And then maybe we should be able to do more of this. I think it can work. I think it can work. It might work. I'm feeling a little optimistic. 3 Wishes 5 the Apocalypse. Oh wow, there's a good amount of comments. It's just Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Oh well, wait, do they not stream the practice day for the Grand Prix for Formula 1? Because I know it's 3 days. There's practice, qualifying, and the actual race day. All right, we'll see though. All right, we'll head out now. Friday is practice sessions. Wait, so are Fridays not streamed? Like, is there no way to watch Fridays live, even though it's practice day? Like, wouldn't we still be able to watch the Friday live as they're like, yep, 3 practices, 1 qualifying, and 1 race? Okay, but wouldn't Friday be streamed? Like, wouldn't we still be able to watch Friday? Okay, they are. Okay, there. So, after F1. After F1, let me just put this, just so I don't forget. Just so I don't forget, after F1. After F1. I watch practice. Yeah. Okay. I want to watch it, man. Dude, Wiz, I'm telling you, man. Wait, before I head out, I got 5 more minutes. Did you watch the fucking Formula 1 movie, the F1 movie? Because I'm telling you, man, once I saw that fucking movie, it like something like just awoken in me. I'm like, wow, this is such a cool ass sport. And I remember watching that one movie, Rush, like 10 years ago. I remember watching that one. No, I won't return to it. Not yet. Dude, it is such a good movie. Watch the F1 movie, bro. I'm gonna go watch Superman tonight. I'm telling you, dude, the movie was so fucking good. It turned me into an F1 fan overnight. I got home, like, as on the drive back, I heard nothing but F1 reviews. And when I got home, I started watching the documentary right away. And the very next day, all I kept watching was what's F1, the rules of F1, or like, I don't know, there's like planks of wood on the bottom, and then they put metal tips on the pieces of the wood, and that's where you see all the sparks. It's crazy. Hollywoodish, but great though. I loved it. Sounds good, man. By the way, when you get a sec, check your DM. Bet I'll check it out right now. All right, I'm gonna head out. Peace. All right, later, guys. I'll check it out right now. I'll hit you up right now then. All right, later, guys. I gotta stretch, man. I gotta go to the gym in an hour. All right, peace. Later, guys.